Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Mr. Chairman? No, that was the representative. Wait. So we have Representative Borrero here, Representative Trent. We'll get that out of the way and vamos a full forum.
Are you going to stay for this meeting?
Stay for the best for last.
Are you going to stay?
I'm on strike.
You're not going to represent administration?
All right, guys, 2 o'clock. All right, welcome to Sweetwater, guys. We're going to start the workshop budget meeting, August 18, 2022, at 2 o'clock. This is a workshop. I guess we don't need to do anything. We're going to go ahead and start with Representative from Florida House of Representative District 105, David Borrero. Welcome aboard, buddy. Welcome to Sweetwater. And he's got news for us today. I guess it's good news, correct?
Yes, some good news.
Yes, sir. You got
Money.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Billete. Raquel, do you want to come up with the check presentation? Yeah, so guys, today I'm very, very proud to announce that it was a big team effort to get $500,000, $500,000 to the city of Sweetwater for drainage infrastructure, which will go to affect 108th Avenue between 21st and 23rd Street is where the anticipated application of the funds would go, which, as you guys know, is one of the most torn down area for roadways and drainage in the city. Over there you have just huge ponds of water whenever there's just even a quick storm that passes by. So I'm sure the funds will go a long way to helping out businesses in that area and help out even our patrol vehicles who drive over there through that roundabout area. So very happy to be able to get this done, and this was a collaborative effort between myself. I want to thank our Senate sponsor, Ana Maria Rodriguez, who worked hard. At first they were like, I don't know if we're going to get it. We can only get $250,000. Ana Maria made a push. We got it to $500,000, so we got the full funding. And we're very proud to get these funds over. Daniel Perez helped as well. Our future speaker and your future state rep, who I'm sure is going to be an asset to the city. So with that said, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, yeah.
No, thank you very much, David. Like always, like I always said, this is your house, so don't forget. Okay, and thank you very much on behalf of the city council and commissioners. And if anybody has anything to say,
I do have something to say.
go ahead.
David, thank you for doing this, because actually, and I'm going to extend out now the news to the businesses around there. They've been contacting me. I know that they've contacted Robert between City Electric, Gomez Fence, that they've had issues there, and they've had issues that they've had customers, and I'm one of their customers of City Electric, and we can't get in there once it rains. There's no way of getting in there. I mean, unless you have like a truck or something, but then it's everything getting muggy. I have a truck of mine, it's on the side, it's full of cement because of that. But thank you for that. I will be letting them know that this is going to be coming soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Absolutely. Do you guys want to take a quick photo
Yes.
over here in the
Yeah.
front, please? Yeah.
All right, representatives and also Randstad. Come on, Anthony.
Okay, I got everybody in there.
You're gonna give me those titles today.
All right.
Thanks, Robert Harada, for always making it happen.
That area needs all the kill secret.
And the mayor wants to play
Great to meet you. Give me a call.
Thank you so much.
I'm trying to do it right now.
All right, thank you, guys.
I'm so sorry.
Of course.
Let's go.
Looks like it.
Es una seña que tienen que bajar de peso. Yeah.
Okay, what are we gonna start with, number, I mean, what is it that you guys wanna do? You guys wanna start when,
Well, whoever's here.
whoever's here? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
All right, we got him here. Tenemos a Robert.
All right, just good afternoon, commissioners. We're here in a collaborative light. As the word suggests, workshop. We're literally here to work through the issues and see what everybody wants. We're going to take copious and generous notes, do the best we can, answer questions. I was able to get members of the Public Works team here, Building and Zoning Department, who are a large, part of the budget. I will be here. I have an engagement at 5:15, but I'll be around until that time. And Annie Ches, again, she will take notes. Some things we'll have to owe you answers on. Others we'll be able to tackle here on the spot. But again, it's a workshop to work in a collaborative light, and we look forward to this. So.
Okay, anybody, you wanna start? You
I
got
think-
one
Yeah,
particular
I just
area to say?
I want to just thank you for coming out and participating in this and for inviting the department directors to come out so we can have some answers. Thank you for that.
It's our pleasure, and we're all ears. Like I said, we may not have all the answers now, but we'll take them back and to the drawing board. And I hope to see y'all too around City Hall. If you have any other questions, we could discuss it always publicly, but feel free to reach out to Annie and myself. And I would like to thank practically all of you who have come and conferred with Annie, because it takes a village, and this is a large and complex document, so it will take several sessions and everything. And if there's something we can't answer now, we may have to come back. But at any rate, it's been many years in the making, and I think we're off to a good start. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Okay, anybody wants to start in any particular?
If
I don't know
I-
if you guys want to start in public. Or
Just go ahead, you wanna start?
I'd like to ask a couple questions.
Go ahead,
before.
go ahead.
So, I spoke with Placido, the police chief. He said, with reference to the vehicles, that you were able to get some leasing, that you could be able to tell us today, if you can explain that, since we left off with police last time.
Yeah.
So we have an idea on
Okay, that's-
where we're at with that.
So we're going back to the police department.
So at least we can finish police.
Right,
since we
so,
went-
so reference to that of the vehicles is going to be the financing of the cars. It will be about $402,000 for the first year. The equipment is $200,000. That cannot be financed. Year 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Hang on real quick.
Hold on.
402K financing,
Right, for the first year.
which is year one.
Right,
Okay,
And then-
402K, hold on, I'm sorry. For
402,000.
the 18th cars, right?
Correct.
12 tahoes on the 18th.
Correct.
Right, on the 6th.
So this is, 402 is half the lease payment and half for the equipment that can't be financed.
correct.
Okay, and then year two?
Year 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be about $205,000.
Okay.
So that's going to be the way it's going to be with the financing.
All right,
Is
so
that what we're
then,
talking about?
Yeah. I'll
so
say
then
one more time.
line, so Andy, then
First
line
year's 402.
76.
Hold on. Let me
402.
finish.
Right.
402.
And the other ones, I'm sorry?
And for year 2, 3, 4, and 5,
That's what they show here.
about $205,000. Yeah, you should be able to sit there.
Okay. Line 76 is gonna be 402, right?
Right, that was my next question. So then line 76 would be 402, Annie?
402?
Yes?
About,
Yeah, about.
it's around that, it all depends on the interest rate that we get at the time.
13.
We still don't have for sale the information on the vehicles for us to go and do the finance.
Okay, but somewhere around 402.
Yes. Between 402 and 445.
Between 402 and 445. Okay.
So that $1 million is out of the picture.
Oh, well.
Well,
402 out of that million.
About,
yeah.
we'll be able to say between 775 and 800,000.
Okay, so then, sticking with police, if I may, Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
the salary increases were not in the original document.
No, that was,
So what, do you have the salary increase factored in now?
that one will be about 300. Okay, factoring the
Está bien, está bien.
increase, the taxes and the pension will be about 330, 340,000.
Okay, because when you and I sat down, it was 5,000 times 73 employees was 365 plus federal taxes of 27, pension costs of 91 was 484.
But when you, like the resolution mentioned about the starting salary at $60,000 on October 1st. So when we take in consideration the 60,000 and what they were supposed to get paid, at that time the difference is about $3,353 around that. So we multiply the 3,300 times the 74 officers.
Okay.
It's additionally.
So did everybody understand what happened there? So the resolution that Commissioner Villanueva, I think it was his
Yeah,
resolution.
it wasn't accounted for here.
He wanted to give the officers a $5,000 raise, but he capped, because it had a number specific, like 60,000. We were capped at the 60,000. So instead of getting 5,000, they got 3,000.
Yeah, it was about $3,353.
Okay.
Okay. So then this number then
Increases.
decreases from 484. What's the total number then?
330,000.
Oh, 330.
That includes
365.
pension, FICA, all that other stuff we talked about?
Is this for the officers that are getting retired?
No, this is for the new hires to be competitive, so we
Gotcha.
can recruit and retain. So,
Gotcha.
you know, I'm gonna
What item is you're talking about there?
salaries.
Yeah, I know, this is in where?
Police.
Your
This is
police, right?
police. We're still in police.
Right, but what number are you in?
I guess it's line 10, right?
Regular salaries, line item
Regular
10.
salaries.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'll I guess it's appropriate to let Villanueva see how he wants to handle that, because I think he had a different idea. Okay, and
So instead of 365, it's 330.
instead of 484, it's 330. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it won't be the 5,000.
Right, so it'll be 3,300, so it comes to 330 roughly. And then the last question I had is, what was the impact of police budget for those that decided to sell time?
With that one, we basically did like a percentage. We don't have names of the officers that are retiring.
No, so we passed a resolution that people could sell their vacation
Or the
and sick.
PTO. Okay.
Yeah,
That, we haven't completed all the numbers. We're still getting some forms back. But I would say between 200,000-300,000.
okay.
200 or 300,000?
Between.
Between. Those are
What
the,
is-
those are the officers that are getting retired.
No,
No,
this
employees.
is
PTO.
Yeah,
PTO.
Remember the
Two
resolution?
different things.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, and this
Those
is,
are-
as you may understand, it's
Yeah.
somewhat difficult to quantify, but we've started by, doing the projections already, and at least that, and we definitely want to be conservative in that.
Okay, and do you know what our unfunded liability is citywide for that?
1.9, like $2 million.
Like $2 million. Okay, so what she means by that is if every employee sold their sick, vacation, comp, and all that, we would owe them $2 million. And nobody funds that. No city funds that.
So that's gotta come out of there.
So part of the resolution that I passed is that every year we can at least,
Put some money in
make
it.
some payments out to the employees and reduce that, so it's not a big hit all the time.
Gotcha.
So, and then what other cities that are very responsible do is they create a line item for the following year to basically fund the unfunded liability, which is vacation, sick leave, when employees leave.
Right, we had also, we had discussed that prospect of allowing, a PTO payout or something to that
That's
effect.
that's a great idea, and I would strongly support and recommend that we do that. That way, again, it's a budgeted item every year. And so what we do over there is in May, the employee gives you the request to sell, and then we pay them out in the new budget. That way, everything's budgeted, so it keeps things
We will
clean.
be making all the changes as soon we have all the changes during this workshop. We'll present a new budget.
Okay, and then lastly, and I think
Okay, hold on.
it's already came
Can I
up.
go back
Yeah,
to
go
the
ahead,
same?
yeah,
So if I'm not mistaken, that's across the board, right? That's for
everybody,
everybody. So in order to create that line item, like PTO, whatever you're gonna call it, so it's gonna show in every single department, right?
It should, yes.
All right.
And then one of you guys brought it up, we're trying to do a sale or a buyout for officers. the mayor's trying to do a buyout for officers?
Essentially, yes, for officers, and I believe also civilian, is something, in essence, I think we could define it as an early retirement or
Is
or
that
a
something that
window.
is that
That's-
something he's gonna bring for us to review?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there's obviously a financial benefit to that?
Yes, that would be, and also, I don't want to get too far off topic, but I believe we're going to promote, next week, we're going to have a
Five
healthcare
promotions.
benefits, thing, and I believe we're gonna propose putting that on that agenda for discussion. We're gonna bring it up for discussion, and, it'll be in the commission's hands.
All right, how many folks do you believe would take that window? Like, for example, like PD or elsewhere?
Ballpark, really, I don't know if you've toyed around with the numbers, but maybe 10, 15, if we combine PD with civilian, because that's also, we wouldn't want for, civilian to get left behind, but if I had to surmise, maybe 10 to 15, but that's a projection we really haven't done objectively, so.
Okay, yeah, I would like to, see those figures before we move forward. Just want to make sure we're moving in the right direction, but I'm not adverse to it, I just,
Gotcha. Well, if it's brought as a proposal, then we'll make it a point to have that info.
perfect, okay.
Where's the financial benefit on that?
So you have an officer, for example, that's been here 25 years, is making, I don't know, 130,000. You allow them to retire, you give them some additional retirement benefits, and you bring in an officer at half the salary.
Or two.
Right, and you're not paying in perpetuity, there's a stop.
Yeah,
So-
there's,
But still we need to cover those positions, right?
yeah, so the officer retires at, let's just use a round number of 100, you bring an officer in at 50.
Oh, 50,
Just, no, I'm
starting at
just
60
giving
something.
you a number to.
All right, I got it.
Just giving you a number to
Right.
kind of keep it simple.
And also the payout to that person ceases at 7 or
Right,
10
like,
years. You're not
right, at
perpetually
whatever
paying
number
the
of
thing.
years, like we may extend them additional pension benefits, like they may get 3 years of service for leaving early, or 5 years. And there's a cost to that, that's why they can run the numbers, and then based on the new officer and his salary, so you get a $50,000 savings. It won't exactly be 50, but it should be a financial benefit to the city. And then the actuary actually reviews the numbers and all that, if I understand that correctly, to make sure we're not,
Yes, they do.
yeah.
Or you could have two. Replace them with two officers.
No, my point is if we open a window of retirement for 5 officers and we're hiring back 10, I mean, we're gonna break even and probably.
Well, you-
But you have more.
You won't, because
services.
you're losing the higher,
You have more
more
officers.
expensive guy.
All right.
So they'll run the numbers for us. All right, that's all I had on PD, if anybody else.
I don't have anything else.
PD.
You got anything? Okay, Pucci, are you here for public work or for what? Parks or which one you?
Stormwater?
Stormwater, where are you from here from? Okay, so
Yeah,
let's,
Public Works and Stormwater.
so let's go ahead and go with number,
18 or
Public
17.
Works,
Public Works, 18.
18.
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead. Anybody got any question for Pucci?
To the chair.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Didn't, we discussed last time, the truck that they need to cut the trees down in 35 was gonna be financed or lease or whatever?
Yeah,
That's what we have discussion
you,
last time.
have you heard anything about
At
that?
this time, there's been no further discussion that I'm aware of about the truck.
Okay, this is the
We're
truck,
releasing.
this is the truck to cut
The bucket truck.
the bucket
Yes,
truck.
the
bucket
bucket.
truck.
Now, I voted in favor, so I really wanted to, this is the money that will coming from storm water, correct?
No, Public Works.
No.
Public Works, they're
Public
general
Works?
fund.
Was it all from storm?
No, this one is general fund.
General fund,
From general funds.
yeah.
But we reviewing every single equipment that we have budgeted in this budget, and we might get financing for all the vehicles.
Okay, that's
And some
include
of the equipment.
equipment, okay.
Through,
But we need to get closer until we get equipment. Now it's taking a little bit longer to get any cars or equipment.
Right,
So the bank won't actually do the financing right now or do the documentation until we are closer to close the deal.
gotcha.
All right, just to put in my little grain of salt, just so everybody's aware of, all the options universally, that if something's like a fleet of police cars or whatnot, then financing definitely makes sense, because I don't think we could pay that up front. However, if we do have the cash in the budget to pay for something and buy the item in and of itself in the moment, that's, I would want for the commission to consider, because if there's something that you can buy up front with cash and you're financing, you're gonna be paying the principal, which is what you're paying for that thing, plus the APR every month, so there is added interest to it. You're paying for the widget, for the good, principal, interest. And I'm just both together, so I'm saying if there's something, of a lesser nature that could be bought up front, it may be wise to consider it that fashion. But yeah, financing things that are vast, large purchases, that makes sense in that regard. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, through the chair?
Go ahead.
How long will that truck last for your team?
The new one?
The bucket, yeah.
Well, the one easily probably taken care of properly, 15 years.
Okay, so I think for something like that, I think a 5-year makes sense. We keep the cash on our side, and it makes sense. The same thing with the 7 vehicles that was requested at the other meeting. I think we lump all that into one payment, and
Yeah.
we keep cash in the bank for us.
I agree.
Yeah, that's,
And it's, if you're gonna use that asset for 15 years, it makes absolute sense. And I would hope we're taking care of everything appropriately.
Well, up to now we do. We take
Yeah.
very well care of all our equipment.
I see no reason to stop that.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Nor do we.
If I can ask a couple questions?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
So salaries is up 119,000 for public works? Is that because we added new people, raises? If you could just,
I haven't seen the budget, so I couldn't answer that.
Robert, would you know? Salaries is up 119. Did you add any people? Are we giving raises
No, I believe a couple of people are being added in light of the annexation area, but I'd be more than delighted to take that note down and get a definite answer for.
So
Yeah,
that's some question.
Yeah,
if I could chime in, I did see, I didn't count the employees. If I'm not mistaken, there's an added employee, so I think it was like roughly about 60-something thousand, and then some raises across the board that goes from employee 1 to the last employee. They have significantly increase in the salary, so that's what kind of made.
do you
Because
know?
I have the old budget.
At least, I can tell you, Commissioner Martinez, at least one person added in that department is, short a couple of people. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
we could have
see-
enough maintenance.
I see 2 open maintenance positions,
Yes.
which I'm fine with because I know we annexed. But do you know what the raises are?
I right here.
Yeah, right.
I have the old.
No, I know. I'm just wondering if you know a percentage.
The overall, it was I know that, in fact, for everybody was $1.50 raise. And, we had the open positions, and then, I will have to check if there were any variances with the employees, if there were any increases after that. But everybody got a raise in the department.
Okay.
Besides the 3.5 COLA increase for
I was gonna tell you.
starting October.
I was just looking over here. The cola.
Yes. That will be 3.5.
Yeah, I have here the 2021 and the 2022-2023, and I do see the increases from employees on there, and it does. I did make the math, and it does come up. It's a little over. Well, for regular salary is 120, 119, some change, plus the new employee.
Okay. Anybody else on public work?
I got like 2 questions.
Go ahead.
I wasn't here at the last one, so I just wanted to see what in education and seminars there's a $19,500 $500 increase. Education seminars, just want to know what that was. That may have been answered in the last meeting, but
No,
No.
No, we never
do
did.
The only thing we covered on last meeting was police and city clerk's
25.
Yeah. As to the specific numbers, I don't know how each department works it, but I have personally mandated that each department bump up their education and seminars. Plus, also in their type of their field, there's certain certifications and trainings that they do need to take every year for
Yeah, that's what
stormwater, mechanical, etc. But I've mandated that all departments at least propose beefing up their education and seminars a little bit, just so that we keep our people on the cutting edge and don't get left behind, so.
All right, and then in janitorial, I see a $29,000 increase. Did they, the janitor service, did they raise their price?
We are under negotiation. They did mention that there will be some kind of increase, but we still don't have the final numbers for that.
Okay. Maybe we could, if they raise it that much, maybe we can find somebody else, you know?
Yes, and we do, yeah, for things like janitorial service that we do shop around. We're definitely not gonna engage with a company without at least 3 quotations, if not
Okay.
publicly advertised.
All right, that's,
Did you finish with that?
and gasoline, well, no, we know why.
Yeah, we know what.
And then buildings, I see 11,433 extra. R&M buildings, I'm not sure what that line
Yes,
item
that
is.
account will cover not only the maintenance building, but it will cover City Hall.
Yeah, that's repairs and maintenance that's a general upkeep of buildings.
Okay, perfect, yeah, we definitely need that.
Our buildings are getting older.
Yeah. The more the buildings get older, the higher that line item's gonna go.
We need new ones.
Yeah, we need a new one for sure.
Through the chair.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you,
ahead,
guys.
sir.
Sorry for my tardiness, Mr. President, to the rest of the commission.
Unacceptable.
It's all good.
Mea culpa, mea culpa. Mr. President, have we gone line item by line item in Public Works?
I'm going through every commissioner, if they have any questions. You know, if you want to go out one item by one item, that's
So,
fine.
like I do every year, Annie, thank you for being here. I know you hate this time of year. I know that, you know, as the interim director of finance, you have a job to do, and this part of the year sucks. But my line of questioning is going to be the same as it always is. So hopefully there are no surprises. So my first question, let's look at Public Works line item 23, communication cell phone. Right? It's a pretty basic question. How much money have we spent this year on communication cell phone for Public Works? Excuse me real quick. Yeah.
$2,800.
$2,800. And we're budgeted for 3,777, right?
Yes.
All right, no big deal. Now, up to right now, today, line item 10, payroll. How much have we spent on payroll for Public Works?
$673,000.
$673,000, and we're budgeted for $800,520. Is the payroll for Public Works? It's obviously not $100,000 a month, right?
No.
So if we do some simple math, payroll's about $67,000 a month for Public Works.
About.
Okay. Which tells us that we have another month left to go. We have $673,000. Add another $67,000.
We have about a month and a half.
And we have $740,000 more or less that we're going to be spending. Is that accurate?
We're gonna be spending about let me see, 6, 7,
About 90 grand.
close to 100, yes.
So we're going to have a savings of roughly 25,000 roughly. Okay. So let's all take note of that $25,000 savings. How much have we spent in overtime year to date at Public Works? Line item 11.
36,000.
Good. And are we planning on spending the remainder of the overtime in the next month and a half? So it's safe to say, just erring on the side of caution, we're going into hurricane season. Who knows what's going to happen? But thinking positively, we've spent $36,000 overtime. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So that's about a $30,000 savings come October 1st. All right, guys. You see where I'm headed with this, right?
So if I can just ask real quick,
Go
so
ahead.
would you say that we're about 85% of each line?
No, in all the, no.
90%? If you could assign a number to where we would be basically on all these lines to not have to go one by one, we're probably about 90% of each line, aren't we?
85 to 90%.
So 85 to 90% of these lines. So if you took 85% of 15,000, there's 2,500 on the next one. So there's savings all the way down. If you went to the very, very bottom and took 85% of that number, that's the savings.
On the overtime, we're gonna have some saving. We have had a slow season, hurricane season. So probably that's why this year is being like that.
And I would assume the difference goes into reserves.
So that's the point that I'm trying to make. But that number changes once we actually go down line item by line item on the rest of the public works. So if you guys can just indulge me, give me a little leeway, we'll be able to find some savings, and then you'll see what it is that I'm trying to do. For pension contributions, well, first of all, for payroll taxes, what do we spend on line item 13?
54,000.
So we went above. No, okay, good. And for sick bank, what do we spend?
No, that one is paid at the end of September, so we haven't paid anything on that one yet.
How much are we spending in sick bank?
That depends. Like next month, when we go do a report to see who has been absent. If they haven't been absent, they can have one absent. We pay 40 hours. So that number we don't gonna have it until the end of September, and we pay it on the last check of September of the fiscal year.
Okay. And I'm not gonna bother with. Well, you know what? What do we spend on workers' comp up to now?
So far we have $70,000, but we're still holding, waiting for some invoices from the county.
Do we perceive those invoices to be worth $70,000?
Yes, they're a little behind, so we
Okay.
might have that amount of money.
All right, so I'm not gonna bother with those. Let's look at something significant. Give me line item 26. What have we spent in general liability year to date?
So far, 68,000.
And are we expecting to spend the additional 25,000 in the next month and a half?
I have to do some review for them. I cannot answer that one.
Okay, so safe to say we have another 25,000 and we'll wait. So line item 26 is maybe another 25K. And we spoke about professional fees janitorial, line item 29. What have we spent year to date?
That one so far, 40,000.
Okay. 40,000 in 10 months is $4,000 a month. So that should be 48. So we're gonna have a savings of $8,000 there. Is that accurate?
I will have to check to see if all the bills are in.
Okay. So line item 29. Looks like we're gonna have an $8,000 savings, maybe. For repair and maintenance equipment, line item 30. What do we spend year to date?
$10,000.
Okay. So we obviously have $23,000 left. Do we have anything pending in AR?
That's what I was gonna say. This report is what everything has been approved so far in our system. Anything that is pending is not in this report.
So why?
Because it hasn't been approved until every item in the system is approved,
Right.
it cannot be encumbered. So this report give me all the what is encumbered and what is paid.
Right.
What is pending, I don't have it here. Until we approve it in the system. And and the department first, they enter everything in the system. We go ahead, approve it, and then it gets recorded.
You want to ask them, Rob?
And just to interject, the other, that line can be unpredictable. The equipment can break down more in 1 year, less in others. I'm just saying, that's a reality.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not trying to squeeze the juice out of an apple. What I'm trying to do is,
Not a bad thing at all, but just letting you know that kind of line can be ambivalent. There's lines and then there's lines. There's different things that are.
I get you, but what I'm trying to do is not only communicate with my colleagues on what we have as potential savings. It's also what I've been saying for a number of years. You know, every budget is overinflated, and at the end of the year, there's monies that are going to go into reserves, and that's fine. But we're trying to get to a number that no one's ever been able to get to before. What that number is, that's actually going to go into reserves. So, Annie, you've been here 20 some odd years. Are you able to tell me how much money is going to go into reserves this year from this year's fiscal budget?
Approximately.
For this fiscal year, I really can't tell you because we haven't finished
Got it.
the year. And I don't know what is pending from the department.
Got it.
It,
I
just
can tell you
a,
from last year, but not this year.
a little nuance. Overinflated, no. Are some lines conservatively calculated? Yes, because you don't know what a year could bring, what could happen. But in the term, I think inflated is a little draconian. So.
Robert, I love you. I use the word overinflated because I know what it means. I'm not asking to get into a debate with you, and that would not be productive.
Okay, just clarifying.
So yes, overinflated is the term that I'm using. What's up, Pooji? Mr. President, you go with me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just to make a statement clear that some purchases have recently been made that she definitely does not know about. We do this. I order some stock cylinders for our trucks for hurricanes. What it is, it's so easy to change and replace the cylinder than try to rebuild one or reseal it in a storm event. So those are things that I've recently ordered.
How much is that?
She doesn't have it. Well, it's about 1,000 and something per cylinder, and I've ordered some for stock.
Sure.
For cranes particularly, because in the event of a hurricane, we need to be reliable and efficient.
Sure.
They're there for that, because it takes 45 minutes to change, whereas try to get one resealed and repaired in a hurricane. You can't. It ain't gonna happen.
I agree.
So for that reason,
I agree.
these things have recently been purchased.
I agree.
This one, and she doesn't even have the building on that yet.
I understand, and Poochie, I'm not going to engage you in conversation, but you have been here now longer than I've been alive. That's a fact. I'm 44 years old. How long have you been here?
No, actually, see, there you go. I'm 40.
Oh, I apologize.
43, 44.
I apologize. So
Before you started school.
right. I hate to exaggerate. So you've been here 41 years, whatever? Okay. You were here at a time when you were not able to spend anything because there was no money.
No, this is true.
Got it.
Come a long way.
Now, of course, we've come a long way. Now that we have extra monies, traditionally in municipal government, at the end of the year is when it's time to spend money. Spend, so we can get that budget reapproved for the following year. I understand the game. I get it. Knowing that, I'm also trying to figure out, since Annie doesn't know what that number is going to be, we can go line item by line item and we can do a rough guesstimate. Now, if, let's just say we are able to find $1 million that's going into reserves, which, by the way, I say the number is 1.5. Because every year it just happens to be 1.5. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that number ends up to be $1 million. Well, now we can take those $1 million, we can add it to this year's budget instead of it going to reserves. And now we can save more. Now we have more money to give employees raises, more money to get good equipment. But it's not the shell game. It's very difficult for the legislative body to be able to conduct and perform what it is that we do. This is what we do without 100% communication from the administration. Understand? So it's almost like a shell game. So this is why I make the statements that I make. And respectfully to you, Robert, you're a subject matter expert when it comes to Sweetwater. I love you to death, but I know the word that I used. I used it on purpose.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Annie, you're clearly pulling these numbers. He's asking you questions and you're pulling the variance from a report.
Yes, these are my.
Can we get a
notes
copy of that
I did.
report?
Okay, I'll go ahead and send it to them.
If we can, if everyone can get one, please.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna breeze through this. So janitorial, we said we can save about 8,000 for repair and maintenance. You spent how much?
Excuse me, what was the
10
number?
grand.
What, can you repeat?
Line
that?
item 30.
What's the name of the account?
Repair and maintenance equipment.
Okay. That one, 10,000?
I'm sorry?
We spent 10,000 on that one.
10,000. Okay, so it's safe to say that we're gonna have another $10,000 in savings, because if it's
We
33,000.
don't, depends on the invoices that we get from here to the end. of
I'd
the
be
month.
surprised if we have $23,000 in expenditures right now, in pending. It's probably 10 grand, but hey, who knows? Again, everybody wants to spend at the end.
Well, Pucci is the one that ordered everything. Pucci, you think we're gonna get more? Spend more money? Yep.
How much more than 10 grand? Hold on, Robert. Let me see Pucci's
Not
face.
necessary, not necessarily.
Things could
Hold
be
on,
increased.
Robert. I'm sorry. Let me see Robert Pucci's face. So, how much have you put in pending in invoices for repair and maintenance?
You think it's more than $10,000?
More than?
Yep.
Don't know off the top of my
Don't
head
know.
right now.
Okay.
How many cylinders
But,
did you order?
I believe it was 4 plus repair kits, also seal kits.
So that's like
for
5,000.
Other cylinders. Probably.
About 5,000-6,000.
Yeah.
That's
So,
it.
so what I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to nickel and
But
dime you.
not quite finished with that. There were some more items that we were going
Right,
to
and
consider.
understand, Butcher, we're not trying to nickel and dime you. We're just trying to figure out what's going to be the ending balance that goes to reserves. So we don't get that number. So
It's kind of hearsay because you really don't know what he knows for sure what it's going to be.
Yeah, so do we enter all
At this
the
point.
invoices
Even
and
at
in
this
the
point, we
system?
don't know.
that-
I'm aware, but remember, when you're creating a budget is based on guesstimation. And that's what we're doing now. We're guesstimating. Now, we may have a number that comes up to $1 million. The closer we get to September, I think your deadline is September 24th, 22nd. When's your deadline to turn in your?
The final budget?
Yeah.
you mean? Covering is it the 28th?
I know one is the 12th.
The 26th?
The 26.
The 26th.
There you go. I know one is the 12th, one is 26th. By the time we get to these dates, these are workshops. We're going to be able to have actual numbers.
Yeah.
Now, what always makes me laugh in the month of September, everybody starts throwing in, oh, I want a spacecraft. Somebody's going to throw in there, I want a Tesla, because that's what departments do. I get it, but all we're trying to do is figure out what the number is. So I'm not trying to bust your I don't want to use the word, but
Chops?
bust your chops. It's a nicer word to
Yeah,
say.
but we have a number closer to the end.
All right, so I'm just going to breeze through this. I don't want to take too much time. Repair and maintenance building. How much money has been spent? Line item 32.
35,000.
Okay.
That's 30 more.
And have we? Okay, Pucci, do you suspect that you've put in 20 grand
30.
in requests for repair and maintenance building in the last month?
Not at this time, no. I haven't.
Good. So now we know we got some money there,
30.
right? Let's see. Repair maintenance vehicles. How much money have we spent?
That one's 17,000.
Okay,
Hold on. You said 17?
that's what she said.
Let's see.
We're on the same page.
There's at least 50 there.
So
Yes.
it's safe to say
I'm sorry, hold on. Marcos, did
Go
you
ahead.
say 17? Did you?
1-7.
1-7, okay.
1-7. So we got about 50 stacks there, right, guys?
Yes.
Easy.
Okay. Repair and maintenance air conditioners. How much money have we spent? Line item 35.
About 10.
10 grand. Okay. So we got about 40 there.
Let's just call it 30, be safe.
Let's call it 30 and be safe.
Let's be safe.
Let's
Call it
be
30.
conservative.
Super conservative. 30.
Okay. Here's my favorite. I love this one. Line item 36. Every year is my favorite. how much have we spent in line item 36?
What's the name of that account, please?
Repair and maintenance roads.
37.
37,000. So we got 20 stacks there. Repair and maintenance bridge 109 Ave. How much have we spent?
That one doesn't show in this report, but they were doing repairs on the bridge.
Right now.
Yeah,
it's a purchase.
we've made that a point. That's a liability. A lot of people traverse that.
I'm aware. I'm just
When it's
asking how
made,
much money we
it may
spent.
be made 6 months ago, this month, I don't know, but that's definitely a liability and it's very sensitive.
I'm aware. I'm
Okay.
just asking how much money we spent.
No, that one, it doesn't show here, but I know that there were repairs.
Okay. 107th maintenance agreement, line item 38. How much have we spent?
Which one? Sorry?
Line item 38.
The 107 maintenance?
Uh-huh.
$2,000.
Okay. Another one of my favorites, line item 39, repair and maintenance parking meters.
That's 4K right there, right?
25.
We spent 25 this year on repair and maintenance.
Parking meters?
Aren't they under warranty?
We have to pay for the warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the paper, very expensive paper, we can't stock it as well, and then there's warranties
Let me see.
that we pay
Okay,
on.
no, parking meters, 15.
15?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
But that one, yes, we have the warranties and monthly fees.
I got it. So 15K. Line item 40, gasoline. How much have we spent?
25.
Okay. 25 divided by 10 is 2,500 a month. And we spent 25, so that's going to be 30. So we might have $5,000. I'm not even going to write that down. Line item 43, supplies, equipment. How much money have we spent?
15.
15.
15.
1.5. So that's about 14K. Now the reason why I'm also doing this exercise is we know what they've spent and what they're requesting for next year. So we're able to basically figure out, do they really need that or not? For line item 45, janitorial.
I'm sorry, Marcos. Did you touch equipment 48.3?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
was-
the last one, okay.
Yeah, that one is 14 grand
15K
savings.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, here's a fun one. Line item 45, janitorial. Supplies. Which gets convoluted with line item 29. So how much will you spend in line item 45?
About 3,000.
3,000.
Another
I
14.
love this game. I'm good at this game. How much have we spent in printing? Line item 46. And what is Public Works printing, by the way?
I believe that's the account that was added during the last budget workshop. I believe that it was for, because of the outreach on the roadways progress? On the subways, the garbage. We haven't spent anything on that.
So we haven't spent any money of the 20 grand?
You guys, these some flyers and stuff. We will
Yes,
have to see
it's
where they
on-
budget those.
This department head wasn't able to make it. I'd like for him to be able to explain, but if we were doing outreach, roadways, sidewalks, and solid waste would have gone under this department.
I got it. I love it. How much money have we spent from that line item?
No, that one.
Zero. A big goose egg. 20 stacks. How about 47 uniforms? How much have we spent?
$5,000.
5 stacks. So 10K savings.
Excuse me, Commissioners, there have been some recent purchases that I know I'm aware of.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
I don't, it hasn't been billed yet.
I got it. I got it. Okay.
And also in that account, when we had to change sometimes that the uniform get damaged and stuff like that, we had to pay for the entire uniform.
I understand,
So.
but we've only
we-
spent,
That's why we budget a little bit extra for that.
I get it, trust me, I get it. Okay, so here's always a fun one. Line item 55, waste and sanitation. How much have we spent on this line item? Hold on to your seats, folks.
0. That's my item.
No, that's 56,000, so.
Okay.
Whoa. We spent 56,
So far, yeah.
so there's 144 left?
That was
Yeah, this
my
is,
item from last
That
year
was his item.
that I tried to.
I remember what that was.
That we added.
That was
That
for
was
the
at
garbage.
150, and then we added.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
You know, why don't, if I can make a recommendation, Mr. President?
yes, sir, go ahead.
She's got the document right in front of her. Why don't we take a break?
I will
She
make
can
copies.
give it to Carmen. We can make copies. We're gonna go through every department like
Yep.
this. That would save us a bunch of time.
Yes, sir.
But this is not an accurate document, so.
It's okay. I mean, you're referencing it, so
You're
And-
guessing.
And that's why I say that there are many items that are not.
We understand that you have pending items to be approved, but all we're doing is a rough guesstimation, which is the exact same method that you use to budget. So all we're doing is trying to figure out what's what. For line item 56, how much have we spent?
hang on. Can we get a copy of the document?
Yeah, let's finish with this department. I mean, just
I
two
mean,
more.
yeah, there's
line
2 more
items.
lines, but if we're gonna go through every department like
Yeah,
this,
yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it
Let's
afterwards.
finish
Yeah,
this
that's a good
one. It's
idea.
only 2 more, and then we're
So,
gonna get
Marcus,
that.
let's get a copy of it.
Let's finish this one.
Two more
Okay,
items.
what's
So.
the line item that you mentioned?
56. By the way, I do this every year. 56
CO equipment.
equipment. How much money have we spent?
On equipment, that's, the CO equipment?
Yes, ma'am.
No, that one 2,500. That's for, let me see, they were gonna purchase an equipment.
So you're budgeted for 114 stacks,
I
and you only
believe that I will have to check on that one, but I believe that the equipment, they've been behind and it's taking longer.
I understand. So we've
I don't
only
know
spent
what equipment was it that they bought.
so we've only spent 2,500, but we're budgeted for basically 115,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's for,
That's why it went down.
Huh?
I
That's why it
believe
went
that
down.
that's for.
Yeah, but that money goes to reserves. So now we have money to play
So
with.
listen, even if they used 14,000, there's 100 left in there.
Right.
That's 5 times what they have already used.
Correct. So
let's
right
just say
now,
there's 100 grand in there.
right. So let's just say right now we have let's say 112,000, 112K. And I'm basically done with this line item, but right now we have 25, 33, 63, 103, 133, 153, 168, 178, 182, 196, 216, 226, 376, $480,000 in savings.
What's the number again?
480,000. I've never seen Ian smirk like that. Ian is smirking. That wasn't a smirk. I apologize.
I didn't do anything.
It looked like a very confident, like.
Okay, and through the chair,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
and just I can see what y'all are doing. That's great. That's your duty. You're looking at previous performance. I guess what they call performance-based
What was the
budgeting in
number
the academic world.
480.
Just a caution though,
134.
each year necessities are different. We are a larger city. You know, to assume that one year will be reflective of the previous one, it's the only thing you got. I don't blame you guys. If I were your seats, I'd be doing the same thing. But we did grow in size as a city, and all the directors that were able to be here, Mr. Salazar's on the way, Pucci's here. I do think that they would just out of fairness to everybody's consideration, also have a chance to explain why next year's projections may be different, just to also not carry the underlying assumption that every single year afterwards is going to be like the one before. There may be new needs, new things. Things can change, but again, you guys are doing what I would be doing in your place, but I'm just giving you some perspective. Things may change from one year to another. That's it.
Pucci, come on.
Doing this, we're gonna have a bunch of money
Please
reserved.
keep in mind that we've annexed.
Right.
And no one knows for sure what kind of funds we may need for
So-
next year.
so I'm just gonna
with the
say-
annexed areas and expenses and everything involved.
Just know that I think everyone here wants you to have every last widget or gadget you need. That's not what this is about. If
No,
you,
I'm
if you
just-
need
just saying
cylinders
keep in
and
mind,
parts
that's
and
all.
trucks,
Yeah.
we want you to have it so you can service the community. That's
Yeah,
not the issue
but I
here.
understand that, let's say we budget something and that line item is zero. I understand that you can come to the commissioner and we can get the money for you from reserve, correct, guys?
No.
No?
No, we cannot.
You cannot.
So the way that the when we present the budget
Right.
for next year,
Right.
the only time that the budget can be reopened for a budget revision is if we're receiving
Surpluses.
funds that we were not expecting, or if the mayor requests for a budget revision.
Surpluses.
The commission, as far as I'm concerned right now, and the attorney can, correct me if I'm wrong, the commission has no authority to reopen the budget unless we identify new funds like Commissioner Marti and I and the rest of the commission had identified previously. Then we can reopen the budget. But what we're doing right now is not strangleholding next year's budget. And I understand how staff is going to get nervous. What we're doing is identifying funds that are going to be going to reserves that we can use to allocate to next year's budget. Because our job is to not raise taxes. Our job is to make sure we give you guys the best equipment, the best pay. That way you can provide the best service. So I understand that you guys are going to defend the administration's position, but I also want you to understand this, and I say this respectfully. None of you are going to defend the commission's position. None of you have ever defended the commission's position when the commission has not received the proper information to make informed decisions. So we've had to play this game, and it's been extremely difficult. Now, I think, and I've said this before, this is the very best commission the city's ever had since 1941. Because even though these political games are being played, we refuse to hinder the operation. We refuse to punish our residents, punish our business owners based on political minutia. So if it's something that's good, we're going to vote yes. And we're going to say, good job, staff, good job, mayor. We don't have to go and have a beer or drink un cafecito after, but we're here to make sure the operation runs well. So although I can respect your tenacity on defending the administration's position, I will always say, got it, but remember, past precedents and what's happened, that's what we're doing, So just be patient, bear with us. We're going to give you guys all the widgets and gadgets and who's-its and was-its. We're just going to be able to make informed decisions, take the monies that are going to be not used and allocated towards next year's budget. At least that's what we're trying to do.
Before we take the break, going back to the Commissioner Diaz question, I think what you were trying to ask was, let's say a stormwater budgeted like 100 cylinders at $1,000 each, talking about $10,000. If they need more, if we have the power to take it from the reserve, I believe yes. The answer is yes.
No.
No. What you're doing now is the single most important task that the commission will engage in its entire year. This is it. This is what you do, and you control the power of the purse. Once you pass the budget resolution, and this is a resolution that is effective, it is binding because of the charter, which says you can pass it by resolution. Once you pass a budget resolution, the resolution becomes the law of the land. It is set in stone at that point. That is the mayor's authorization to spend that money. And the commission has already appropriated those funds. In order to modify that with a budget amendment, there are only two opportunities for that. They're both under section 5.02 of the budget. The charter. Sub A is to make supplemental appropriations during the year. And that is when the supplemental appropriations during the fiscal year in excess of those revenues estimated are available for appropriation. So, sub A is when there are revenues in excess of what you've appropriated. You appropriated $25 million in the budget, and all of a sudden you find that somehow there's an extra $100,000 that dropped into the city's lap during the year. You can reappropriate that $100,000, and that will be part of the budget. The other issue is, but unless that occurs, the commission does not have the power to open the budget. The other time is when there is some sort of significant shortfall. The mayor has the authority to come back to the commission and reopen the budget in order to address the shortfall. So the mayor can't address excess monies that have been found, and the commission can't address shortfalls, which is what you're getting to when when you want to appropriate something else and you don't have the money for it, you go into reserves. So those are the two times during the year when the budget can be opened or amended, which is the correct word.
Gotcha.
So generally, so the reserve money, how can we use it?
The reserve money, and to slightly tweak something that Commissioner Villanueva said earlier, you really can't take the extra money that's used this year and move it into next year. That money has to go into reserves unless there's something about, and again, I'm not a budget person, but I believe that's the correct process. However, in the new budget, you can, however, tap into existing reserves. So if you find, for example, $150,000 that you believe is extra in this year's budget that will be passed through to reserves, in next year's budget, the 22-23 budget, you can have a line item for revenue drawn from reserves, $150,000. So you can offset it that way.
Okay.
But it has to be done in the budgetary process now in August and September. Once it's done and it's passed and it's signed, the budget is closed for the year unless it's reopened in one of these two fashions.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
So can I add something to that, Mr.
Go ahead,
President?
please.
So this part is very important. The only time that we get to do this is in September. After September 12th to September 22nd, I guess it is, Carmen? 26. All right, so the 12th to the 26th, that's the only time that we're going to be able to do this, and I'll explain why. In general accounting practices, you have two ways to run your books. You have, I want you guys to listen to this and correct me if I'm wrong. In general accounting practices, you have two ways to run your books. You have cash in, cash out, and I guarantee you Annie does not run cash in, cash out, correct? And accrual. You run accrual, right? Good. And what that basically means is she has pending AR, pending accounts receivable, that comes in the following month. So whatever is being spent this month, she will not know until probably the 15th of the following month. Is that how you run your books? Okay. So I run my books the same way. So on the 15th of the following month is when you're going to be able to see what you actually spent because it's on an accrual basis. Our guesstimation is only going to function when we do it September 12th through the 26th, whatever. 26 again?
Yes.
I'm going to forget that number again. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's the only time that we're going to be able to say, okay, guys, we found 480,000 or 520,000 in here. We found 600,000 there. Trust me, we're going to find a lot of money that's not spent. And now it's our job to make sure that those funds stay accurate, because now, since the administration's wise to what we're doing, now they're going to start spending money. Right? And there's nothing we can do about that. We can't sit there and go, I want to create an ordinance that says you can know. I mean, I'm sure there is, but you would have to go into like fiscal emergency. We don't need to do all that crap. So every month we need to figure out, or every week, hey Annie, how much have we spent in accrual in this line item? And she'll be able to say. Now, whomever has a relationship with the mayor, maybe, or with Robert, we can sit down and say, okay, in this line item, what do you have so the way we can figure this out accurately is, what do you have in pending? Now, in her system, in her computer system, she has pending expenditures, correct? Now, we can ask her to generate a report on what's pending right now, and I definitely like that. I'm sure the rest of the commission would like that, aside from whatever Commissioner Madi was asking for. Now, based on that, on accrual, which is actual and pending, we'll be able to see what it is. And if we go line item by line item, trust me, the magic number is always going to be 1.5 million a year. I've done this now 6 years in a row, and the magic number is always 1.5 million, and 6 times 1.5, and look how much we have in reserves. Ta-da! So with that, I yield.
How much we got in reserve right now?
$9 million.
7.4, and we haven't finished the order for
It's more.
2021.
Yeah,
So that probably will go close to 9.
yeah.
Close to 9.
And not to mention the added, keep in mind, so that's 9, and then we have guesstimated revenues from the annexation area, more.
That's okay. That's a good number to have.
So
Not
we're
a
gonna
bad
be beefed
problem.
up.
It's not a bad problem to have.
So,
Chair,
no, go ahead,
We're able to
go
buy
ahead.
Teslas.
Go ahead.
Through the chair, I wanted to add something, and this might be something, I mean, just to throw out there. We're having the issue that we can't tap into the budget and reserves and all that stuff. I spoke to someone, and someone did. I spoke to Ralph, sorry, and wanted to see if we could actually create our own reserve.
Of course we can.
And from that reserve, is it in those cases of emergencies that when X money is needed, they come to us and we allocate it to them, more or less. If Ralph could help me with that and explain a little more.
All right, so you are all aware of how the commission as a whole has what are called, for each commissioner, there's a commissioner's discretionary reserve account. That's money that's set aside for each of you to go ahead and spend in certain fashions how you see fit. Nothing prevents you from setting up a commission discretionary account that's decided upon by the commission as a whole, and whatever figure you deem appropriate. And that money, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, whatever is included in the budget, and then that money would be essentially for the commission's discretionary use. Now, that the use through there would actually be subject to mayor's veto, but assuming that it would be approved by the mayor, or you could override the veto, I see no reason why you could not have something like that. Now, that's a legal reason. Now, Annie, is there an accounting reason why this would not be appropriate?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay, so essentially the idea is that you set up a separate fund that you administer as the commission, and you're not modifying the budget, you're not amending the budget, because you've already appropriated the 300,000, 400,000, whatever that figure might be, and you're not changing the method in which the funds are going to be allocated, because the purpose of the allocation is discretionary throughout the year, in the same way that any sort of rental assistance and other use would be discretionary throughout the year. You don't know who you're going to give it to, and you don't know how much it's going to be for one thing or another. So, but it can definitely work.
And it will have to be approved. You know, you do Super Bowl
minority,
five majority.
Yeah,
Oh, you
it would
stand
have. Yeah,
majority, right?
Yeah, so it's like
yeah, it would have.
super majority, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could set up whatever controls you would
Yeah.
want on it, so it would be either a simple
That's a great
majority.
idea.
It would have to be by majority, no question
by
about
majority.
that, because
And
it'll be
give it to them
it'll be for the purpose of the
emergencies,
commission.
whatever. All right.
If you wish to add controls to that, you could require that this be by a supermajority.
Super majority.
Correct.
So the way to do this would be to appropriate the funds, however much you want, and then pass an ordinance establishing procedures, establishing the type of majority that you would wish, and establishing the any sort of review period, however you want, and the items that the funds could be appropriately spent towards. That way, you have the money, you have the legality, and you have the accountability. It all dovetails nicely.
Through the chair. Good idea for some things. I'll explain why. If it has anything to do with employees performing a service, the mayor can simply not do it. True or not, Ralph?
Could you elaborate? You're probably correct, but I think you're correct. But could you elaborate on that, please?
I'll give you an example. We have $300,000 and we want to fix a street. Hey, Ciro, pick a street. Hey, Fifth Street. Good idea. And we allocate the money for it, and the mayor goes, "Yeah, good job. I'm not going to do it."
Yeah, no, you're correct. In that sense, you cannot force the mayor's hand to actually implement the funds.
Correct. So the only time that would function is if you're just moving a monetary instrument, not for a service to be provided by our employees. And the only time it would also function is if the mayor and the commission are in agreement to allocate said funds for the performance of whatever it's going to be. So again, great idea. But let's just say, for example, we need to buy a cherry picker, a bucket truck cherry picker, and it costs $170,000. And you know what? We need it. We need to have it. Everybody's in unanimous agreement. Cherry picker, do it. And the mayor goes, "No quiero." He doesn't have to buy it. So, go ahead.
Through the chair, but that's what I'm saying is like a discretionary account where we could actually make the purchase on it.
No, we cannot. We cannot make a purchase as a commission. We can only approve
the funds.
and allocate funding.
No, he's correct on that.
We cannot say we're going to buy this.
If the money were to be used in a fashion that the mayor would agree, then yes, it would be completely appropriate. However, aside from that, unless there's a specific donation or I won't even, don't go there actually, just, but in an actual purchase, the purchase has to initiate in the administration and the contracts get approved by the commission.
So now I'll give you an example. And this part I dispute because I personally do believe that the commission does have buying power. But the way that it's written right now, it's very convoluted. I believe the commission has the ability, like I want to implement in this budget, for commissioners to have the ability to host a movie night and to go ahead and purchase the bounce houses and the thing and the projector and whatever.
And the licenses to play a movie.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever
I didn't know we required a license to play a movie.
Like Disney and stuff.
I think you only require a license if you charge for it.
No,
Yeah, but
found
we're
out.
talking
But it's fine.
hypothetically,
Yes.
so-
I have no
Same
idea.
thing. Same thing.
I
Yes.
believe the commission has the authority to make that purchase. I also believe the commission has the authority to, purchase an item, like a truck or whatever. The commission actually has the authority to say, okay, from now on, Annie Ches is going to make $200,000 a year. The mayor can go ahead and veto. We override with a supermajority vote. She's making $200,000 a year. The only other option the mayor has is to terminate Annie. And then Annie comes back to the commission, we give her job back, and we continue playing this game.
Happened before.
Say again?
Happened before.
Right. So the commission, I believe, does have the authority, but again, we have a broken system when we're not communicating with the CEO of the city. So although I love your idea, it's one of those like, okay, he's gonna figure out a way to not do it, and now we've allocated that money that we can't use.
I thought about that one too as well. But I think, let's say for that instant that you said with buying the projector and this and that, we could do that right now.
Yeah, he won't say no to it, because then he'll use it, and
No, 'cause
it'll be fine.
we could buy it.
you lack executive authority.
But just like when we allocated the money for our discretionary account, we could actually go collectively and buy something that we could use.
No. You can go individually and buy things that you can use.
Out of your discretionary
Collectively,
account,
collectively, you're governed by sunshine every step of the way. So if you, I mean, we're really an esoteric constitutional law here. But if you wish to go ahead and send somebody to buy a fire hose, and the commission nominates you, Commissioner Ray, technically, am I correct, Carmen? That would have to be a publicly noticed meeting. That essentially Commissioner Ray, as a commission of one, is going to go to the Home Depot on such and such a date to buy a fire hose.
If it's mentioned at a meeting, then you're fine.
Yeah. No, because he would then be appointed as a commission. I'm sorry, excuse me, as a commission of one. No, as a commission of one, commission two, commission three, whatever it is. It's a subcommittee of the commission, and once that subcommittee goes out to do something, that itself has to be publicly noticed. That was already done here years ago. In the summer of 2017, when Jose Diaz was nominated as a commission, as a committee of one to do something for the commission, and I remember specifically that was publicly noticed, and the media attended that event. I forgot exactly what it was, but that's been done here before. That makes it extremely complicated. But
So, if you're so the proper mechanism is, I'll give you an example. In the city of Tamarack, each commissioner has $100,000 discretionary account. Again, the city of Tamarack has a $250 million budget. We have a $25 million budget. I don't suggest that we now each have $100,000. That would not be wise. And in this stage, just looking at it from an entrepreneurial point of view, we don't know what the budget allocation is going to be for the annexation. So we're obviously going to be conservative. We still haven't seen what the numbers are going to look like at the end, because remember, in every single budget they bring you an inflated, but yes, I use the word inflated. They bring you an inflated budget, and then we cut, and then that's the final product, right? And then, lo and behold, even with all the cuts, at the end of the year, there's extra money in reserves. So, we can either increase I think right now we're at 10? I think we're at 15,000. I think 15 is more than enough.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to go ahead and allocate an additional line item in legislation, you can do that. You know, creating a legislative line item for whatever. The only problem is, in order to carry out the expenditure of those funds, we still need staff.
Correct.
So, if we want, like I want to get one of those things, and with the bounce houses and all the kids, and that way we can all have events collectively, and and whatever. I have no idea how much that costs, so we'll go through that.
All right. You want to take a break and wait for?
Well, he won.
Yeah, I'd like to get a copy of that report.
As I had mentioned to Commissioner Marti before and everybody else, I do have an engagement at 5 that I can't get around, so if the commission has anything else for me, gladly be
Well, it's
around.
only
I have a funeral.
3:20.
I have a funeral at 6, so.
It's only 3:20.
So Annie, we need whatever's pending, right?
Well, whatever that report she has there.
And what else do you want?
I just wanted to ask, can you guys give me at least a week and a half or two to update the report? 'Cause
Honestly,
I know we have a lot of things pending.
Yeah, if it could be put through a public records request as we usually do, that would be but you will
okay,
definitely get it.
I'd like a public records request for that
Yes, sir.
document. I'd like a public records request for that specific document she's got her right hand on right now.
Okay. Hey, can you guys give me a week and a half to update correctly the report.
I don't know what that's gonna be in a week from now. I'd like a public records request for that document she's got in front of her right now.
That's an effective public records request.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. You have to hand that over.
I don't have a problem giving you another week. As a matter of fact, I prefer it, and I'll tell you why. Because as we're progressing through this thing, we're just sharpening the steel, and it's just becoming sharper and sharper.
That becomes version 2 in a week.
Sure.
That's fine.
So we want to see what that looks like. We'll give you the time you need. We're obviously going to meet before September 12th. I'd personally like to meet 2 more times.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that the more we meet, the better we're going to be for doing our jobs, and the better the city's going to be. So, I mean, look, if I'm one of 7, I have no problem with that. I'm going to be requesting another workshop, and I guarantee everybody's going to be doing the same. But most certainly we want to see what that document says right now, and that way we can compare what it says right now and what it's going to say.
Yep.
That's cool.
Okay. 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I gotta make a call. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 2:30, guys. 3:30 here.
No, not here. They can't make any formal decision here.
Needs to get back to Carmel.
Yeah. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go smoke.
Can I use your cup for coffee?
You can. You can. George, you know what, Vito? Hold up. What's up, bro?
You asking for a copy?
Do you have?
Or you asking for the documents you can come
Yeah, I'll find somebody. If I can, finding somebody that's as good as Mario is gonna be very difficult. But I'll get you somebody. Yeah, I want to talk to you now. I'll get you somebody. Okay. By the way, ¿ya tú hablaste con el tipo ese? Sí.
Oh, they had a meeting? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't know they had a meeting yesterday. Okay. I'm assuming that is the only one that said it. I'm in a pool of sharks. Which commissioner? She spoke up. What did she say? Does she want to go? Yeah. I thought I was gonna have to wait a year for that to pass. For them to I see it. All right. Well, thanks for letting me know. Hey, what's up, man?
Still trying to get the city
Verified. Hey, did you email those people?
Yeah, man.
Tell me about it.
Might have to hire somebody. Durant just got verified.
Doral.
It's a mission. It's a mission. It's a mission.
But did the person you email that we gave you, did they reply?
Within weeks of increments of time.
And
So
do they?
they go 4 weeks verified right now on.
And they don't reply?
No.
Maybe it's a different person now. Could be.
Could be.
Hey, what does that X mean on the top of your name?
10 years.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, I was thinking about hiring somebody that does something like that. I forget what they call it. Public relations type of person that has those connections. So we'll see. But we need to get verified.
Yep.
We need to get verified. That's the only way to legitimize the city right now.
Yeah, keep trying. Pull whatever strings you can.
Yeah. I'm gonna reach out to the county and talk to them about it too.
All right.
So we gotta get the city first.
Yeah.
Oh,
sí, fíjate, y la estamos moviendo porque yo estoy llevando al Six Structure, porque si no lo mando a tumbar, pues entonces que le digan, ok, tienes 70 días y tienes que acabarlo todo y abrirlo, tienes que hacer algo. Esto no puede estar. Los reyes, eso, tú sabes cuando aplicaron para el permiso, los reyes que están haciendo ahora, estamos hablando de agosto, en enero. En enero. Pero mucho sí, por eso. Es difícil que no van a decir.
Ok.
Tú tienes 60 días. Los 60 días los estamos viendo todo.
Right.
Entonces se le pone una prisión.
Ok.
Yo tengo entendido que el comprador, o los compradores le exigieron de parte de la compra que le hicieran todo.
Bueno, entonces, ok. Si no tienen dinero, entonces voy a tener ese.
Pero le pidieron la certificación.
Ok, perfecto. Ok. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No, yo lo sé. Pero por eso lo vamos a empujar.
No, yo sé, mi amor.
Si lo cumplen, pues.
Ojalá que no. Porque yo sé, ojalá que no.
Eso también nos pasa a nosotros comentarlo.
Exacto, pero bueno, te quiero decir porque, oye, no es que siquiera están haciendo las mismas que los ciudadanos siempre.
No sé por qué yo digo 8 millones.
Sí, pero sigue siendo una fachada, y el segundo lo borracho para ahí, lo que lo llevan por acá. Mira que desde que quitaron eso se cayó.
Me lo hicieron. Fast. No se queda una. Especially now. Oh, this time of it.
They don't cost more.
That's more width.
So everything you are, well, the first one that I did last year. So
Sí,
The second-
sí,
and then the second one, they get when they
a
get
lot more.
Déjame coger otro poquito de agua ahí.
Really, you know, how invoices go.
How many employees do you have?
8.
8.
No, yo no me equivoco. Sí, that I'm gonna take.
Oh, ¿qué tú estás hablando? Oh, yo sé que tú me estabas hablando del tipo ese que estaba pidiendo el parents ese. Sí, él me llamó. He did. He called me y le dije nada. Y lo mismo que estaba diciendo, le dije, okay, you know, you gotta go through the process. And that's it. I didn't give him anything like that. Lo puso, me dijo todo lo que iba a hacer que te lo. Yes, Larry's wife passed away. Yeah, el tipo estaba malísimo here for the past, I would say 4 or 5 months. La mujer cogió cáncer y se murió ahora hace about 2 weeks ago. Maybe about 2 weeks. He called me today, yo le llamé, because I asked, me llamó Isolina y me dijo que porque yo le dije, listen, let me know, because yo estaba mirando los otros reportes and he's not been showing up. Y lo llamé hoy, y me llamó para atrás y le dije, listen, Saúl, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make it, no tengo la mente para esto, y ya estaba como por 5 months. Yo pensaba que era something else.
Finance Legal Services in Miami and Coffee Chico.
No, I don't think coffee.
Pero déjame quieto, men. No empiezo a... Yo empiezo que viene mal. No, porque antes, no, yo te vi la foto que tú traes un vino, aunque sea una colita para allá o algo. Before school started, yo cogí la semana esa, entonces me llevé la niña todos los días por la mañana.
Este es mío. Ya.
We went to Miami Beach, different places, Farito.
Aquí fue que hay dos.
No, you have the boardwalk, entonces tiene los little shops y todo. Mira, mi prima por el cáncer, la operaron hoy or yesterday, she was good over there in California. Here, nosotros íbamos a
No, I got it.
Robert, coffee?
Yes, bueno. Oh, yeah. Look, you can afford that's the they call them jingles here.
Yeah, iba a ir a Storm por ese, pero no, le voy a hacer más a la semana.
Sí, porque la cámara es una prueba.
Yeah. Okay, no, I do him then. I do him. Déjame decirle a este porque iba a ir para Puchi, porque él estaba Storm también.
Yeah.
Así que bueno, jump to him. Puchi. Yes.
Antiguo.
No, I'm good, thank you. Just smoke.
I got it.
All right, we're gonna do. All right, guys, let's start it up. We're gonna do Storm. Annie, thank you. Thank you, Annie. Appreciate it.
So we're done with public works.
Yeah, we're gonna do Storm because Pucci was here
creo que
before,
es
and it's gonna be 22.
21 or 22,
So
yes.
let's round it up to 50K right here.
And 22?
22.
You need to wait for the clerk to return.
22 Storm.
We need to wait for
Storm.
We need to wait for the clerk to return.
Yes, yes, yes,
Hasta las 3 de la
yes.
That
mañana.
means rest man, but you can start without me.
Hasta las 3 de la mañana con esto.
Okay.
Y con esto, y mira, así. Ahí.
Okay, Carmen. You ready? All right, we're gonna start with Storm, Water, Puch. If anybody have any question for Storm, Water,
I do.
Go ahead. Puch, come on.
Thank you for this, Annie.
Okay, so LGR Interstorm Local. That's with the that's the Interstorm. Okay, no, it's just which we're buying the vehicles and trucks, line item 56, 452, 151. That's the new, that we're trying to get the new,
Okay, I don't have the budget in front of me.
no,
so-
it's a new truck. It's on the new trucks.
It's under vehicles and trucks?
Yes,
The 497?
yes.
Right.
That's about it.
Correct, that's a brand new one.
That's the one, the,
What number? What?
56.
I call it sucker,
Right, Vector.
the Vector, correct, thank you.
Okay.
That's the one I was looking, that's that truck only? Or is
Yes,
there any
correct.
other? No, the
there's,
other vehicles, okay.
There's like a few minimal attachments and things like that. That is something I would probably get. I can't even do that yet because I don't even have a VIN number for the truck. So how can I order something for it when I don't have a VIN? And so soon, very soon, I'm hoping that that truck will be delivered. That's a really top piece of equipment, that truck.
Yeah, no, I asked
Very
about it and I
modernized.
looked
It's
into it.
changed drastically. A lot of improvements, and our other one's still going strong. We've been doing quite a few drains as of recently.
I've seen it there.
And working very well. It's 10 years, over 10 years old, but it performs beautiful as well.
Okay, I have a question. What is line item 58 MDC West Annex Utility Bond? It's costing $107,000.
Oh, that's the pumps.
No, that's the new area.
For
No,
the,
that's the fund, that's the new annex area. They had a bond, they had a bond in here.
we took it on the internet.
We assumed their debt for some
On the
stormwater
internet,
pumps.
Correct.
Yeah, they just passed it
No,
on to
no,
us.
that's fine. I just trying to clear it so everyone could hear it as well.
Is that through
Um,
2029, if I may?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, up to 2020. Yeah. Salaries went up.
So I'm sorry, is that 107,000 a year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Up to 2029. Yeah, 22. Aside from that, I saw the salaries did go up by 58. I believe we have someone on an open. Or it's just raises on salary.
Yeah, the 3.5, the COLA
Correct.
and salary adjustment, the 150.
Yeah, because on the other public works, it was the new new employee plus it's more or less 58. That's what I counted for. That's basically it. We're gonna see now my lines.
We're gonna do financing
I
on the
wanted-
truck?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into that one.
That's what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over the budget and, go over all the equipment that we requested on the proposed budget. And we're gonna do a bundle with the bank and maybe if they allow the equipment as well.
When we spoke about finance the last time we were here, I wasn't here in the Monday meeting, the commission meeting. I was at the workshop and then I overheard. I was not a big fan of the financing just because I don't want to make, payments on interest rate. I'm not a fan, but we spoke about it. Getting a whole, like a $5 million number. Is that what we were talking about? And then we were gonna get the cars out of that
Talking about line of credit,
finance. Yeah, line of credit.
that's a potential, but that's up to the administration.
Yeah, because I remember we asked and we talked about, but Annie wasn't here, and then we were working on it in the next 30 days. We were past 15 days from that. Do we have anything on that line of credit that we could get? Or we don't?
Done anything about credit line, we're gonna do the financing of the vehicle. But so far, everything is so behind with the vehicle that, we have to wait until the companies actually give us actual.
Numbers, correct.
Numbers, then information for the car in order for us to approach the bank and get the finance.
Yeah, but I look at it as the line of credit. That's a great idea because it's a good idea. Again, I'm not a person of financing. Just financing stuff like that. I finance things that if they're 2-3 years that I'm going to use it, that's fine. But something lengthy, not too much fun because you're talking about 5, 6, 7 years of interest. But okay.
Usually in the past, we've done 4 or 5 years, no more than, actually no more than 4 we did before. But I request for, numbers for 3 years, 4 and 5.
Okay.
I usually request, 3 scenarios and see which one is best for us.
Yeah, on part of it, and then bring that to us. That way we could see the options, not only the options of how much is going to be interest, which one fits best, or if we should just go and buy it outright. You know, give all of us options, because again, I go back to, I'm not a big finance guy because I'd rather pay something off, not have anything, you know, in the years to come. I don't have to budget for this. I don't have to worry about, you know, making a payment every month, a line item to pay every month, and you know it could change. And then in 2 years we need to do another payment, another purchase of cars, and then finance those, and it just keeps on climbing to, you know, more payments a month, more burden on coming into the, you know, the budget. I'd rather you budget how many cars you need for the next year. I know that we can't guess if we're gonna have a truck break down in the middle of the year that, you know, not only it breaks down, that has no fixing to it, then we got to buy a new car immediately. But, you know, he's saying that, you know, we could pay a truck out and have it paid off the next 15 years. We don't have a payment for the next 15 years. And I understand, we have not only principal payment, but also interest payment. I don't like interest payment. You know, I myself, I bought a Rooms to Go 3 years ago, and they gave me 3 years, and I divided those payments in 35 months. I don't want to pay interest. Yeah, I'm just saying, and I know that we've gone over the cash rich and stuff like that. If we could use that money for the better, for the city, for the residents, I'm all in. I'm all in. We're finding money, we're seeing money we could, you know, allocate, and if we buy the car outright, and I don't have to worry about it, because usually we have a payment for 5 years. This is how I see it, and it's happened to probably a lot of us, that you buy a car, you finish paying it off, the next month you start having breakdowns, and there's no warranty to it. So I'd rather, you know, go 5 years without any payment. If we need it in 7 to 8 years, then we go budget that 1 year, get the car. Again, no other payment for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Well, 3, 4, 5 years from there.
Yeah.
But that's where I want to go to see the payments that I'm going back to, either the line of credit or the options, and you know, just wanted to make sure, because I know I see the 452 for that truck, 130 for another truck, and so on. The other trucks for that I went over the whole budget last night. There's vehicles almost in every department, and I'm not against buying the cars. Just want to get that done right, because the next year we might have other cars that we need to buy, and what we're going to finance those cars, keep adding to it. So,
To the
But-
chairman,
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
confused about something. Annie, because I'm confused about this. The vehicles are going to be financed individually, or it's going to be a credit line?
No, usually what we done in the past, we make a list of all the equipment that we need to buy. Now I usually do a request for proposal. I send it to, like, say, 5 banks, and they bring that. I put out, okay, in 2 weeks you need to give me the number for $1 million. So I ask for a couple of options, 3 years, 4, 5 years. So after I get all the information from all the banks, we do a table and we see which bank is the one that offers the best interest. So we usually we bring them here to information, and then we haven't done financing in a little while, but we won't use to
like this, but
usually
silver.
with Truist.
So basically, it's going to be all together. That's what I'm trying to do.
Usually I ask that it's divided by like one, like this one, Sweetwater. So they give it to me breakdown through by department. So that way we know what to charge each department, and we are not missing.
Okay.
That was my
Got it?
question.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, listen, guys, we are on, so everybody will be on the same page. If you get the new budget performance report and you go to 2027, 22 of 27. 2227, I'm sorry, thank you. That's where we at right now, okay? And then if we go item by item, and I'm gonna go, I'm gonna shoot this one up.
Page 22?
Yeah, 22 to
22 of
27.
27.
Mr. President, can I throw a monkey wrench at you real quick?
Yeah.
Don't miss
So,
this.
before we do that, I wasn't done with Public Works.
Oh, okay,
Because I got some more bad news.
okay.
you mind if I finish?
Let's go ahead and finish
Public
it,
Works?
yours. Yeah, let's do that.
And I'll explain what I mean by the bad news.
Yeah, that's okay. That's, what page is that again, 22?
So,
Well, Public Works is a different page.
so Public Works on our proposed budget, right? We're gonna go to salaries. I'm a little confused, so I need a little clarification. Last year in Public Works, we had 17 employees.
Wait, let's go
Are
to
you in
this one.
Public Works or Stormwater? We were doing Stormwater.
No, Public Works.
I'm back on Public Works.
Okay, 18,
We
sorry
didn't
about
finish
that.
it.
So tell me if this statement confuses anybody. Last year in Public Works and salaries, we had 17 employees, and we had $1.2 million in salaries.
Page on here?
So Public Works,
No, on here.
No, right here.
no, I'm not looking at that.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at salaries on our proposed budget, on this,
Okay.
right? So last year, we had 17 employees, we had $1.2 million in salaries. In this year's proposed budget, we have 18 employees, and we have $1.3 million in salaries.
1.3?
1.353.
Okay.
So there's some things that I'm a little confused about. Annie, supervisor transit. Well, first, maintenance director. 75% of the maintenance director's salary is being paid by Public Works. Where's the other 25% being paid? Stormwater. And how much is the stormwater's salary for the director? $30,000. So basically, the maintenance director is being paid. Let me see if I say this right.
122.
The maintenance director is being paid 125,
122, 123, yeah.
122 a year. Okay, and he's receiving a raise of this year. How much?
3.5, and that's what makes it 122.
Other than the 3.5 COLA, is he receiving a raise?
I will have to check on that.
Is there a way?
I really don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Because, let me look real quick. Okay, here. There. And then here. Here. Yep, that ain't it. That ain't it. Hold on one second.
31,510.
On stormwater?
Yeah, his total is 31,510 plus 95,149. Because you factor in the something CMAS bonus and the sick bonus comes to 95,149. If you follow the same line under stormwater for 25%, it's 31,510.
So I'm looking at 1,081.30. I'm sorry, 1,830 plus 2130. So he's getting about a $4,000 a year raise. That's about okay. That's about right. So he's not getting. Now, when I look at the supervisor transit fleet, last year was 72,665, up 75%, and this year's 103,507.
I don't think there's 75% there.
It's not. That's why I'm
It's
asking.
just 100%, right?
If I'm not mistaken, this one is.
Yeah, unless it has the percentage, it's 100%.
Yes.
Right, that's why I'm asking. So last year, the supervisor transit fleet, the other 25% was being paid out of,
CATT.
okay? we're spending another 30,000 this year in health.
She has a family plan.
Got it. I don't want to get into it. Got it. Okay, maintenance worker 2. When I look at position number 91502, that's a significant raise. From 38,000 to 46,000.
Okay, that one,
That's not 3.5.
I don't have the last year with me, and I will have to check the name.
So I have last year's with me. Position number 572-915-002, maintenance worker 2. The hourly rate was $17.94. And now this year's proposed budget, that person will be making $21.47.
The same position number?
The position number is 572-915-002.
Yeah, we'll have to search on that one.
So what I'm trying to explain is that person's receiving a $3.53 raise, and that's not COLA. So that's a raise plus COLA. And what I'm trying to ascertain is I don't want to be giving employees, singling out employees and giving them raises, as opposed to everyone. I most certainly don't want to give a director a raise before an employee receives a raise. I'm of the belief that employees should get the raise first, then we take care of the directors. Go ahead, Mr. President, can Robert speak?
Yeah, go ahead,
Go ahead,
Rob.
Rob.
Yes, sir. Just one note of caution. I would like for, in the next session, I'll have Mr. Alan Avalila here for him to be, because perhaps, Commissioner Villanueva, there may have been a change of responsibilities in the person's scope. That's the only thing I can think of. You really, you got me thinking too. However, just that's one thing I want to put out there. Sometimes in those departments, positions and responsibilities will change. So anyhow.
So that person's receiving a $7,000, a $7,300 raise. Okay? When I go down and I look at the next position number, 541-915-001, the hourly rate was $16.45, and then this year the hourly rate is $19.44. Obviously, that's not cost of living. That's a $3 an hour raise. So I'd like to find out why. Because again, we're giving some employees raises and some not. The next position, last year was $20 an hour, now it's $22 an hour. The following position was $22 an hour, now it's $25 an hour. The following position was $16 an hour, now it's $19 an hour. The following position is $17 an hour, now it's $20 an hour. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm seeing here is everyone's getting a $3 raise, but then you have position number 541-915-005. 541-915-005. Last year they were making $17.94, and now they're making $21.50. So that's more than the $3. So it's like the next one is literally $3. The next one last year was 17, now it's 20. The following position was 16.45, now it's 19.44. So I'm trying to ascertain as to why. I'll give you a perfect example. Last year, position number 541-905-001. Last year, that position, 75% hourly rate was $48 an hour. This year, that same position, 70% is $51 an hour. That person got a ginormous raise. Whomever that person is.
That one, I'll check, but I.
But you what?
I know that last year was 75 with CITT, but now the split is different. The rate will doesn't change. The only thing that changes is actually the salary. But I'll verify that one. I'll verify that one because I
Right.
don't think that one did actually get a raise.
Well, this position I'm talking about, 541-905-001, last year was 4806, 75%, which means another $12 was a CITT, which would bring it up to $60 an hour. Now this year, that same position is 70% at $51 an hour.
The rate, we actually put the actual rate. The only thing that we do the 70% is where it says salary. We multiply that times the 2,000 hours times the 70%. So the hourly rate, that's the actual hourly rate of the employee. The 51, that will be the actual rate. And then the 70, we just do the calculation on the third column where it says salary. That's where we take only the 70%.
Got it. Okay, that's a little confusing,
It is
and
a
I'll
little
explain
confusing,
why.
yeah.
If that were the case, then you just gave this person a pay cut. Because last year their salary, again, employee 541-905-001, last year their salary was $77,229, and this year their salary is $76,864.
Yeah, but last year we budgeted 75 in this one, so it's more money. Now we only budgeted 70% in this department because 30% is between Stonewater and CITT. So that's why he has a little bit less money in this in public works, and the rest of his salary is between Stonewater and CITT.
See, that's what I thought. If that's the case, that means this person got a ginormous raise.
I will check, but I believe this one didn't. But I'll check. I believe that every employee did receive $1.50, but I will verify that.
So I'm counting here like a $3 raise across the board. Which, by the way, I'm glad they're getting a raise.
And we actually, I believe that everybody that was under 15 was brought up to 15, and if most of it, I believe that everybody got adjusted at the same time.
Good. I'm all for the raises. I'm all for it. But now we need to know what those raises are because we were getting ready to give employees raises. I have no problem giving more raises so long as the money's there. That's why I'd rather find the extra fat off the ribeye like we just did now, and now we have more money to give employees raises. I'm a firm believer when you pay an employee more, you can expect more of that employee, and the residents are going to get a better quality service. So, of all those raises, we're looking at an increase of $120,000 in salaries from last year to this year. Okay. And we have one. Now, here's my question. Last year, did we have any positions that weren't filled? Because we had 17 positions allocated.
I will have to check. I believe one wasn't, but I will have to check with HR.
So that one position that wasn't filled, now we have an additional position that's being requested by maintenance, plus the position that wasn't filled last year, which gives you 2 open positions in public works. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And what guarantee do we have that position is going to be filled because it wasn't filled last year?
Well, we have the new annex area, so they definitely will need the employees.
We're hoping. All right, I just wanted to go through that exercise, Mr. President. With that, I yield.
Yes, sir. All right, let's
I
go.
got a question on those. And I kind of see that it says maintenance worker 2. The other one says maintenance worker. Because I see the open positions are for 31,200 this year, but last year was 34,320. Is that because it has that level up of 2?
It depends on the level.
Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Yes,
if I
sir.
may, we had received a presentation from Freebie about a month ago or 2 months
Yes, sir.
ago, and I'm really interested in that. And I know Robert's got to leave at 5.
Yes, sir.
And I think I don't know if it was you, was
Yeah, that
going
was
to reach
me.
out to
Yes,
them
sir.
about reviewing Freebie in lieu of
Yep.
the bus you got on that was not that good.
Okay.
I'd like to inquire if that's an option for us. Have you guys looked at that?
I would like to, and I think everybody's going to agree on this one. This is an easier one. I would like to overwhelm our residents with options. Some of the CITT funds we applied for through the chairman's office, with Chairman Diaz's office, for an additional $1 million for transit on top of what we get now, which is approximately, give or take, $1 million, a little less. And for one, you can do on demand. There's basically in transit, there's two broad categories: set route and on demand, right? Freebies on demand. That means a service that you can call. Fixed route is the other type. For one of those pots of money, bottom line is, and that with the trolley too, we're in the process of getting an app for it. We're redoing the stops. We're giving people, we're surveying people, interviewing people. So that's going to change, and a lot of our residents are used to accessing that service. I would caution to not, suddenly take one. So with what we have here, plus with what will be coming in, I believe we could definitely do a freebie, start with freebie as well, do it a pilot and start comparing it, with the trolley, maybe throughout the years, phase one out eventually, objectively comparing both. I had actually engaged in a dialogue with Freebie, and Claudia probably told you, she's my witness, during the COVID time, so I've been up on that, and I'm also trying to get scooters, bicycle options. I just think we should, 109 Avenue should be as multimodal as possible. I think we should definitely run a pilot with Freebie. Freebie's awesome, but with the Tesla model, which I think would be cooler and a little bit safer, because
Told you we were getting a Tesla.
The cost is similar, because the golf cart. The thing is, with the golf cart, would we want to really put that on 107th Avenue to take someone to the Dolphin Mall?
It's just go across. Maybe we limit it to going across, and we keep it back here to this side.
Let's do this with the transit funding we have now. What I'm getting is that roughly half of it we can use to definitely implement Freebie, and take it from there.
So what money do you need for Freebie to?
I would say to do a pilot, $400,000 or $500,000. Roughly. Running a trolley a year is about $250,000, and Freebie is, I believe, an hour it's about $10 less. But I think we should run Freebie 1 hour earlier in the morning, because we start the trolley off at 8. At 7 could help some people get to work if they call it. So anyhow, as you can tell, I've thought about it a lot. I believe that with the funding we have here as it is, what we may want to do in the line where it says trolley funding, we may just want to put something broader, Sweetwater Transit, fixed route and or on demand, to just open that flexibility. That way, with that money there, we can swing it either way. The next step is I'm going to coordinate with Freebie staff so they can come here to the city and see the parameters and develop a quotation. That would be essentially the next.
I was going to ask you to do that.
The next step, but if we set aside about $400,000 or $500,000, but like I'm saying, we could keep the operational funding as is and just name it differently, and not only trolley but just transit.
Yep.
So
there's 1.3 million in that. I mean, is that what we take in 1.3 million? Does that sound about right to you?
Yes.
So you want us to allocate 500 of that to Freebie?
$400,000 or $500,000. Yeah. Since we're in a budgeting session, I think that would be the ballpark. But again, we should set that aside and then have a separate workshop to.
Okay.
That's just back of a napkin, and given that I've been dealing with transit forever. So, but at least but like I'm saying, we don't even have to change anything here, really. If we just change the semantics, I believe, just call it transit funding, then we'll choose in a workshop everybody together and see how much we want to take. But I think we're good with that. And like I said, we've got some good news coming in from the county, because we're going to get an additional, but they said that had to be for a fixed route thing. I tried to sneak it on demand in the agreement, and they said,
I have a question.
They said fixed route.
Yeah.
All right, so we spoke to the chairman, and we're looking at receiving another $1 million for transit.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. How much did we receive from the chairman last year?
From the chairman last year for transit or for
transit?
And we received from Miami-Dade County, the yearly allocation ranges from 600 to 800,000.
What you're saying is, aside from what we received from Miami-Dade County and the half penny, you're saying that the chairman's office is going to assist us in allocating an additional $1 million?
That was an additional grant outside of the regular scope for transit.
Got it. So we're going to call that $1 million from the chairman with his help. How much did we get the chairman's help last year?
Give or take 700,000-800,000, right? Ann?
From Miami-Dade County or the chairman's help?
From Miami-Dade County.
Got it.
It's
So
a
chairman
yearly
has a-
allocation of transit funds.
Got it. So it's our yearly allocation every year, not a play on words, 600, 700,000. This year we're getting an additional $1 million because of the chairman's help, right?
It's an ad hoc
Last year
grant,
we
yeah.
didn't get anything from the chairman's help. We just got the regular allocation, correct?
For transit, yes.
Got it. Aside from that, do you know what the actual numbers are for transit, for example, ridership, for the month of January? How many riders do we have?
Yes, we get reports from the service provider. It vacillates on
How do they document the riders? Do they press a button and say, we tell you every time somebody comes in? What do they do?
They have a people counter, and traditionally before they would actually, the person would have to take it.
So how
by-
can I
by eye.
get that document? And it shows ridership from January to December and times?
Monthly, it shows it by day.
Good. So how can I get that report?
Go ahead and send me an email. Request it.
Can I get the report without sending you an email?
If Mr. Attorney does this verbal public records request.
Yes, it counts.
Okay. Sure. Then I can shoot it to you via email.
Please.
I don't have it in my pocket.
No, but at your convenience.
Yeah.
At your convenience.
You just have to remind him a couple times. Love you, Robert.
All right, with that I yield.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I
Anybody-
appreciate that,
yeah.
Robert.
Yeah. So we can swing it any which
Yeah,
way.
I like that. I want to try to move forward with the freebie. Thank you.
You said you said about the Tesla that we're getting, right?
No,
That you said
that's
too?
an option.
No, I'm just throwing out that
That's
we
one
have
of the
the
options. Is there a way to do the pilot with? I don't know about the little golf cart looking one.
Everybody
I'm not sure about it, but if we could do maybe the Tesla and the van.
Yeah, I would
Is that
recommend,
something
in a
we could-
perfect world, I would say let's do two vehicles, and perhaps one with a golf cart and one with a Tesla. And but like I said, I will work with Claudia, who's
I
going to
think
come here
the
ASAP.
van also works for some
We,
of
we,
our.
we have to get
elderly.
together because remember we got to fence it out in the area too. So.
Yeah, we
that's
have to
fine, yeah.
geofence it. I would, the golf cart is my least favorite because if a resident wants to go,
Correct,
say,
that's
to
what I'm saying.
IKEA, then putting that thing on the road, I don't even know if it's street legal for 107, the golf
That's
cart,
why I
which is
didn't-
cool for between here and FIU. But anyhow, I'll bring everybody every option,
Yes,
and we'll take a
please.
decision from there.
I would mostly recommend. My personal opinion is the van and the Tesla.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Golf cart's a little
an,
more for the
bus.
FIU students.
Yeah, bus goes around. That's the only bad thing about this. You need
Okay.
a lot to satisfy a big demand because once somebody has a ride en route, that's it. There's not a way that another person can get it till it's done. So, anyhow, but we'll work it together. But I think we should just overwhelm our residents with
That's fine.
options and then
Yeah,
compare them
yeah.
throughout the years.
Thank you,
Have,
Robert.
have we received our new trolleys yet or no?
Thank you, Robert.
No, they're on a
super back.
massive delay along with everything in construction too. But they are certainly on the
Does
way.
it
and they're
get
being
to a point
assembled.
where we could cancel that?
No, we already put a down payment. Like I said, we don't want to do an all of a sudden change because some people, for better or for worse, they're used to riding the trolley. There's a lot of things also that we have on route. We have an app that's coming on route. We have new stops. We're interviewing people. So I'd say please give us a chance to optimize the trolley a little bit. But still, it's all good. We will do a pilot with both, and throughout the years, objectively speaking, we'll look at the numbers and say, hey, well, maybe we should phase one out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully we get the trolley before we phase it out.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and start with building and zoning.
You said it's
Did you want
stormwater.
to go back to stormwater?
Oh my God.
You said it's stormwater.
Oh, stormwater. I'm sorry.
Which is 22.
Yeah, because we went back to where we at. Stormwater. All right, stormwater.
Here we go.
I got one item here.
Hit 'em.
Anybody else? Got anything else? No,
Start
let
it
me
up.
see, because I was on the other one. Hold on, let me go back to. All right, guys. This page that we just got.
22 or 27.
22 or 27.
22 or 27. Yes, sir. There is a 22 27. Item number education and seminar. You got it, Amy? Got it? Education and
Number?
seminar. That's gonna be
537 or 54.
What line item is
Line
it?
item.
537.
No,
No, line
That's the
item.
account. What's the line item?
Oh, right here.
33.
33 got it.
Uh,
Is that
We're in
the-
stormwater?
Yeah, stormwater.
Line item 33 is communications, emails, web hosting?
No,
that's
education and seminars.
Okay.
Make sure you're 22, 23.
Oh, you guys changed the line items. Oh.
Yeah, we allocate there $4,200, correct?
Got
Last
it.
year?
Yes, that's true.
And how much money do we spend on that item
We have it.
so far?
So far for this year, probably less than 1,000.
$4,200.
Yeah, no, they, no,
$42. $42 we spent.
Year to date, 42.
Was that lunch? Did somebody buy lunch?
Is that what it is? $42?
$42.
Anthony's bringing pastelitos.
Yeah, or like pollo
They have
tropical.
that account for classes for the NPDES that they need to do. I don't know why they haven't done it, probably with the COVID.
We just did some this week.
I think it's in
There you go.
Okay, good. So you did it this week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how much, you think it's gonna be more than $4,000? I mean, they're asking $6,000 this year.
They might have more new employees and stuff.
Okay, all right, let's go ahead and do one item at a time, if you guys want. That way we just go, all right, who wants to start and,
Run it.
yeah, go ahead.
Run it, bro.
Yep. All right, number one, local stormwater, which is at 111.
Okay, that's the revenue.
Okay. And then the bank interest, and then we go back to
Go to
funds.
17 down.
We are on page
22 of 27.
22. Personal expensive. Salary from 289, 231 to,
The salary, again,
Those
that's
are the
the
increases.
3.5.
yep, overtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Health, dental, workman comp.
Wait, slow down.
Yeah,
Don't
go ahead,
have it.
go ahead.
The
Thank you,
what did
Anthony.
Say the overtime there's 20,000. Which was it that was spent?
That's number,
You guys are still on item 11, correct? Line item 11?
No, because
No, no, those are revenues.
Those are
We're further
revenues.
down. Those are revenues. We're down on
Oh,
on
we're
overtime
down.
right now. We're
18.
talking about overtime.
18.
Oh, okay, because that's a big number. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's up.
Right.
The number 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up $472,000, right?
Yes, that's is including the new area.
Right.
We have a total of new 8,289 ERUs
I need to read
in that area. That will generate about 500,000, 500 to 600,000.
Oh, you brought pastelitos again? This guy's on fire, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna go hit that now.
I thought Rob brought those.
So we're
what number you wanna talk about?
if you're gonna go down the road, we're about 18 right now.
Yeah, the overtime.
Correct.
They've used 11.
It's 20,000.
There's
What was it?
$8,000 left.
How much was it?
They've used 11.8. There's $8,000 left there.
Okay.
Okay.
The next line that really sticks out is project administration fees.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the next one.
It's budgeted 68,261. They've used nothing.
No,
68.
that one at the end of the year is when we do the transfer for that account.
Okay.
That's we can charge up to 10% on administrative fee. So we do the calculations at the end of the year. Everything that general fund assists as stormwater, then we do that charge.
Okay, so you
But
think
it's
you'll
at the end of the year.
so you think you'll use the whole line?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Wait, I'm sorry. Project administration fees? You're charging, so stormwater is being charged a percentage by the finance department, correct?
Yes.
Good. And that,
It include HR, finance department, public works, all the department that assists with that fund.
right, and so, last year, okay, what did we spend on that last year?
I will say that whatever we budget,
That's what we
because
spent?
we surplus, but we cannot charge more than
Then 10%.
Yeah.
And that's just internal, right? That's not really,
No, yeah, it's
it's just,
that's
it's a shell game. It's just internal. This department charges the other department, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
I mean, that's just,
All right. Professional fees other.
Which is the other one?
I took it out. Okay, never
Yeah,
mind.
we do.
All right, we talk about the
insurance,
education
general
and
liability. It's 10 grand. left.
Insurance general liability, actually, I just got contacted by FMIT. They're gonna be coming to meet with me next week. We're gonna go over the proposal. I had to call, Paget, of the one that we have at the moment. They haven't submitted the report. So I'll bring both quotes to the commission.
Okay. And just insurance in general, while we're talking about that, do you think we're gonna be changing carriers for health insurance?
Oh, I can guarantee we're
that's for- no, that's for sure.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
'cause
But that will be
everyone's-
with HR, but I think that she's doing the presentation.
Out of the
next week.
question.
I'm sure it's gonna be more expensive, right?
Not
I
necessarily.
actually asked her, I spoke to her today, and because we have budgeted a 10% increase, and she's hoping that, she believes that it's gonna be less than that, so.
Less than 10% more?
Yeah, today she was gonna get the figures, I don't know if she has received them yet.
Okay,
But, I can
Okay.
work on that and, we'll bring it to the.
great,
committee.
thank you.
And I believe that, I think that there's a meeting for Wednesday.
She's trying to set up something.
Yes,
I didn't hear.
and I know that she was gonna get the figures today.
Okay.
So, did we already go over professional fees, NPDES? I don't know what MPD.
Line item 37?
That's the National Pollution Discharge and Elimination System.
That's awesome.
It's an unfunded mandate. The state basically imposes it on cities that we have to create awareness about our waterways. You see the little stickers we
I'm
put
aware
into
of
yearly
the grades
activities.
that say-
I'm aware, that's
Yeah.
awesome, yeah. Feed the fish and all that. So,
Spend zero.
we spent zero, we got 13 grand allocated there.
Yeah, that's there's a report that is done every year. I'll verify if, probably, I don't know why they haven't done that, but that's done every year.
Right,
That's a report.
and then the following line is professional fees, other, and we're allocated 44,000.
Spend zero.
Last year, we zeroed that account.
So we spent zero, so that's 44,000 in
Zero that.
savings, right?
Yeah. Rental facility, same thing. We spend zero,
Uh-huh.
36,000 there.
Which one? Well,
The next line.
that rental facility is at the end of the year also.
Okay. I guess we'll see that in the next report.
Yes.
And
that's
canal
right.
maintenance costs?
Excuse me?
Canal maintenance costs.
Well, that canal maintenance is from the county. They
Uh-huh.
have a pool from the different canal, and we pay a portion.
Right.
And that our portion is the maximum that they can charge is the 66,834 that we have in the budget.
Yeah, it's an
Right,
interlocal
so
that we have with the
spent
county.
zero. So we spent zero.
Actually, we just pay. We paying that one. We received the bill, so it will be in the next report. That's what I'm telling you. We have
listen,
people
that's
out
fine.
because health reasons.
Right now it's a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
That's
And
fine, which is perfect.
No, you will see that, and it's about $35,000.
So we're gonna have some money saves,
Yes.
on like 30 grand.
On which line item is that?
41.
R&M canal maintenance cost.
10K?
What was the number? 10?
41?
41.
That we spent.
Usually, we since we have that maximum that they can charge, that's why we budget that.
So we're gonna save about 30K on
30K.
that. Repair and maintenance vehicles. 37,000 has been budgeted, we spent 14 grand.
22,000 left.
So 22 stacks. What's another one that's significant here? Utilities, electricity. We budgeted 37
25.
and we got 25. 8 grand.
Listen, if you guys just turn to the next page at the bottom,
Pow.
492.
Yeah, that's
really
what I was
the-
gonna say.
It's really the number. We don't have to
That-
go line
yeah.
by line. There's
We
there's
don't.
$500,000 in
Yeah.
this department that hasn't been. We're at 50% of what was budgeted.
49, yep.
Yeah.
So what's that total number?
So if we're at 50%, they budgeted $1 million.
We're doing a meeting next week, Thursday.
So that's a savings of how much?
500 grand.
500 stacks.
499.
492.
Plus,
I have
Another $500,000 in the other place.
we found $1 million, folks.
Buy some chiclets.
All right, we're done?
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Everybody in agreement?
Yep.
So far we got about $1 million in savings.
Then we're gonna reach that 1.5 million.
Well, I guarantee
That
we're
one
gonna find.
has to- that
Yeah, yeah.
police have to stay.
Yeah, we gotta wait, we gotta wait. All right, so we done with stormwater?
Yeah, where do you wanna go next?
We're gonna go next to building. Building 15.
Move.
All right, building. Office, administration, hold on. a minute. Okay, so it's building. Building and zoning, right here. All right, guys, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Manny, we're gonna start in payroll. It was a 124,902 more.
What's that?
The first item, payroll, salaries,
Mhm.
it went up to 124,902.
That's because the inspectors, remember, we've been operating for the last year or so with private inspectors that are not employees, and that cost is higher. The reason being is that there's a lot of turnover, and the inspectors in the street are in short supply. They're premium right now. My building inspector and roofing inspector that I had here before got picked off by City of Miami. So all across, and this is not just us, all across with all the other municipalities, the salaries have had to adjust because the private sector is paying even much better than what we are right now, and they're the main competition.
Okay, so this is new hire.
Right, so we have 2 new hires right now. I still have 1 part-timer and 1 field, rather a contractor, if you will. But the 2 main, which was electrical, building, and roofing, I just hired.
Okay.
But that's gonna be reflected because now the salaries, and again, this is across the board, from the county to all the other municipalities has changed. And the inspectors are right now, they're at a premium.
Okay, and let me see something.
What page is this?
This is, we're on page 20. Oh, you're on page
11.
12
of 27.
12 to 27.
12.
12, 27.
It starts in 11. Were you fully staffed all year?
No,
How many people are you down?
we're down, again, my plumber's an outside contractor and my mechanic was only a part-time guy. And he's not yet able to do plan reviews yet, so.
So is it a salary issue?
No, that's a licensing issue.
You just can't find people that are qualified? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Really?
The county right now is desperately looking for people.
And when you find somebody qualified, the salary on the
Yeah.
private side is a lot higher.
And again, what happens is that, with the emergence of the private provider over the last, 8 years or so, they're getting premium dollar out there, they're getting big contracts, and they're paying their inspectors a lot more money. We try to offer a little bit better when you come to work for a municipality. There's a little bit of benefits there, there's stability, because the private provider, as long as there's a lot of construction going on, they're working. Once that happens, if it goes down and there's a lull in the wave, then all of a sudden now you're flooded with inspectors out there. But that's the risk you take. If you go to the private provider, you can make a lot of money. If you get caught in the downfall, then you're out.
Is this affecting your service delivery?
My service delivery?
Yeah.
No, because I've been using outside contractors because they have contractors that work several cities, and this is what they do.
Okay,
They do not want to be full-time employees, so they work on an hourly basis.
okay. I mean, I ask because you were budgeted last year for 446 in salaries, and you've used 271. So I was wondering if that was just because you were short people, or?
I had a full staff prior to COVID, right into COVID, we had a full staff. We've had the turnover since then. Again, my plumbing had left, private sector. My electrical left as well. My building got picked off, but my building and roofing inspector got picked off by City of Miami.
Okay, so is it, do we need to increase salaries? What's gonna help you?
Well, yes, as we go forward, right now, I have a part-time mechanical guy, which I've taken him on as a newer, and I'm showing him. He's been working with us for a couple years now. Good. He still has a licensing issue that we're working on. But the plumber, it's as we go forward and I find somebody suitable that I want to put, then at that time, we'll have to address, because what we were paying my previous plumbing chief is not going to be what we pay now. That's not the current rate.
All right, and lastly, how do we rate versus other municipalities? And here's what I mean. Are the salaries comparable? Are their benefits comparable? Is the pension comparable? Do they get a car? How do we rate? I want you to be competitive, kind of like what we've done with the cops. How do we rate? What do we need to give you so that you can be wherever you need to be?
Well, right now, for our size, now we are growing, and I anticipate this is going to change. As we grow, we're going to get better. We're looking forward into building a building, for example, a freestanding building of ours. We have take-home vehicles, which we weren't doing before. We have take-home vehicles now, and that's worth money now when you think about the gasoline. As a matter of fact, I should have been taking a take-home vehicle back, many years, and I never took it. I'm taking it now. So that's a benefit. The insurance here is good. The retirement, listen, we can't match FRS, or we can't match City of Miami, Coral Gables, for example. But then again, Coral Gables' contribution is about, last I heard, it took 10 or 12%.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Yeah.
For the general employees.
Yeah. So, we don't have that type of contribution. So if they come here, they're actually making more. Now, the retirement is not the same. Our retirement package is not the same. But I think as we're growing and as, we work with the commission, I think
So are you guys in a 401k? What is your...
No, we have now...
Are you the painters?
We have the painters, but the mayor also opted that we could go into nationwide.
Which is a 401k, right?
Yeah.
401k.
457A
It's a 457 fund.
457.
Yeah. A and B.
No, it's a 401. It's got to be a 401.
457, we
Is the third
contribute.
comp.
Yeah. A, we contribute, and then there's B that they can also shadow it on their own.
So if I'm not mistaken yet, it
city
basically
option.
works with the same contribution of the city, but
It goes
the
into a
open
different
option is
place.
that if we want to contribute more,
You can.
then we can, yes.
Okay. What does the city give them for what is the employer contribution for?
$220 an hour?
$3.24 an hour, and I believe for above 65 or 67 is 10%
So $3.24 an hour.
an hour. That's for employees earning below 65,000, 65 or 67,
And
above that 10%.
okay, so just help me with the math real quick. I work 40 hours a week. It's what, $120 a week, give or take. I know it's gonna be more because it's 324. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
So we deposit for them monthly $500, $480
It's 260 to 259
every 2
for
weeks.
criteria.
$259 every 2 weeks. Okay, and then the employee can.
Contribute more. I have nationwide, for example, for me. At any point in time, the city still contributes, but I can go and I can opt to, okay, well, I'm gonna now contribute more, or I can put more into it on my side.
I get that. Okay. How does that rate compared to?
The bigger cities, have retirement funds. The county has FRS. I'm not sure. I think City of Miami, I don't know if it's FRS or they have their own
They have a
retirement.
local pension plan.
Coral Gables has their own pension
Right.
plan. Now, the rest of the other cities, I'm not sure what Doral has, but the other smaller cities have either nothing or maybe a 401k or something like
type
that.
plan.
To the chair, Doral have 401k.
Right.
Just a very broad note to add. I've been here for going on to 16 years now, and just probably due to representation, the civilian portion of the city, our representation now, it's gotten a little bit better, but we were lacking, and thank God the police force has always been, they have a strong representation. So have the electeds, but yeah, the civilian pensions and all that. Why hide it? They've always been kind of subpar.
I understand. I'm just trying to figure out if at least our 401k contribution for the employees, like where we rate with the competition with Doral, for example. What is,
Yeah,
do we know
I
what
don't think we're
Doral?
there yet. I don't think we're there yet. But remember, in my time here, as an employee, I think an actual salaried employee, maybe 8 or 9 years, something like that. But I was here also as a contractor before that. And, you know, during those, and we'll call it 10 years, during these 10 years, you know, this city has grown a lot, you know, and we'll get there. My department has gotten there. Listen, we used to work here in the clerk's office and we had plans on top of the toaster by the refrigerator. I mean, this is how it was 10 years ago. You know, I have my own offices now, and I mean, we've come a long way. And I think that this will change going forward. But I think we've come a long way. We're not there. We're not there yet. Listen, Doral had a big, for example, Doral had a big jump on us. Doral has a lot more area, and they had a construction boom way ahead of us. So they've reaped the benefits. You know, they have a brand new building. They have, yeah, you know, the 401ks, the contribute. It's very good. But they had at least a good 7-year head start on us.
Question for you, those. What is the value of a take-home car for an employee?
Well, right now, gasoline is at, call it $3.50, whatever, you know, $3.50, $4 an hour. Listen, I was spending in my vehicle, okay? I have a mid-sized truck, my personal vehicle. I was spending $50 every 2 weeks, and I would drive it because I was comfortable. I had my salary, radio, blah, blah. With this jump in gas, I was paying $150.
Yeah, but there's an
So
assigned
there,
value,
yeah,
right?
there's a value. Listen, there's a
Like
value
$5
of easily 100, depending where you go. There's anywhere from 100 and 100,
Yeah.
100 and a quarter
No, I'm
a
just
week.
saying there's. Is it like $5,000, $6,000 a
No,
year?
no, it's 10 grand a year.
It's
It's at about 10 grand.
I've seen 5 to 10 grand. That's
Well,
been
5
the
to 10 is
threshold.
a big number.
I've seen both used for it, for the value of a take-home car, and it also
So
depends
if we
if.
used 8, would that be a pretty fair number?
I would say 5, because if an employee takes home a car, they do have to park it, say, on the weekends. It doesn't, when it's 10 is when it replaces a person's car, but that's not the case with our vehicles.
It's only to and from. It's not.
To and from, listen, if you have to make an incidental stop.
I understand that.
But yeah, no, it's not to go and run all of your personal errands. This is to your home and then back to work. So, you know, depending where you live, you know, the gas prices, and you're anywhere $50, $100 a week easily, depending where you live. So think about that, 52 weeks, that's $5,000, $6,000.
So-
And that, we're talking just strictly home and back.
So does everyone in your department have a? And then probably not, but everyone, I guess, that does inspections have a take-home.
I have one inspector that opted not to because he has an issue with family that he has to get kids every other week. So, and it kind of, for him, it's a hindrance for him. But it's offered, it's there for him if he wants it. My electrical has a take-home, and then I have a take-home as well.
So it's 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, right now, there's only 2 that are actually going and coming.
And then,
But once we get a full, you know, once we're fully staffed, yeah.
so does that help you recruit?
Oh yeah, no. Today, nowadays, the problem is not so much the recruiting per se. It's just that the pond is really
Thin.
Thin. And my electrical chief right now, as a matter of fact, is a friend of mine that I worked with in the Gables for many years. He was just retired. He's a young guy, just retired. So I was able to entice him to come over here. He cashed out his retirement over there, and now he's with here.
Okay. I'm good, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcos.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, before you eat that,
Let me finish chewing.
Sir, number 55. You got the,
Number 50.
yeah, it's anticipated
Anticipated
expenses
expenses
revenue, $243,000.
55.
Yeah, those are, what we did over here, what we took the revenue and we did more or less what it's gonna cost to run the department, all the fees that we charge and everything, and that's what they're gonna have in excess revenue. But that's, an estimate, that's no precise, so it depends on how much money is spent.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Like the funds for the building department has to stay in the building department. So what we did this year is we we added all the revenue that belong to the
department.
to the department. Then we went ahead and did a table with expenses that we usually charge building department. So we subtract this revenue minus the expenses. So that was the figure that it gave us. So instead of us leaving it in this general fund, like it belongs to general fund, we put this line item in their department, so we cannot, because we can't touch that money. That
So
has to go to them.
Is this like the other line in the other department we were looking at that was like 68,000 that you bill them back for services?
No, that one that comes to the city. That goes to the. It's like the reserve.
This is a
That
reserve.
will go to the reserve.
They're the reserve.
The building department.
Okay.
The building department.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Michaels.
How much did the building and zoning department generate in revenues this year?
This
much
year
have-
so far. 3.3, actually almost 3.4.
So what we did last year was we went ahead and realized that there was a surplus, because every year there's going to be a surplus of the revenues that the department generates and the cost. So what we ended up allocating was the actual cost of running the department, which was $1.8 million, something like that. Is that accurate?
I will have to check. I have the number, but I don't see the number.
So we end up taking that money.
What we adding on this audit, they gonna be on the reserve. They're gonna have a almost $1.4 million in the reserve.
Right. So they generated 3.6, and now they're having that money in reserve. So what we did last year, if you remember, do you remember what we did last year with this?
I
No?
don't recall.
So last year we went ahead and took those monies that were generated and we put them in reserves.
Manny, do you recall that?
I don't recall that, and I remember that's always been a contention because the Florida state statute prohibits the revenue that makes the building department from being used anywhere else other than, so it has to be invested back into the building department.
166.222.
So let me explain. I think we're all in agreement that whenever I talk about anything, it's usually, I don't know, right now I've been right. Okay. I understand the state statute, but it's all in how you interpret the state statute. And what happens is very simple. If the department generates $3.6 million that year, you take the monies that were generated that year, and that is now the money that's going to be used to run the department the following year. The money stays in the department. Get it?
That's correct.
Now, the monies that you're trying to allocate this year from this budget stay in general funds. Everybody follow? That's what we did last year.
I don't follow.
Okay. You and I have had this conversation before, and you and I disagree, but that's okay. I don't need you to agree. We generated $3.6 million in revenues. Good. Here's $3.6 million. And it costs $1.8 million to run the agency, to run the department. And the surplus from that is roughly $1.2, $1.3 million. There's a surplus of funds, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Good. That surplus of funds is supposed to stay in the agents, in the department, in a bank. Now let me explain before you say anything. Annie, how many millions of dollars do we currently have in building and zoning?
1.3, 94. Well,
Let me say that again. Of all the monies that building and zoning has generated, there's a building and zoning bank,
1.4.
and we only have 1.4 million.
That 1.4 doesn't include the you mentioned the impact fees. The impact fees.
I'm not talking about impact.
For building.
I'm talking about
1.4.
concurrency and permits and all that.
We run a table and like since I believe 2013, and
We're running a deficit.
We have all the expenses, so they were running in a deficit for a couple of years.
I remember. And then at
And
16,
that's why they only have 1.4.
I remember. And then in 16, they were no longer running a deficit.
I will have to check that.
So we've done this before. Commissioner Yanyo, do you remember us going through this?
Yes.
Actually, in 2019, you
And we had like $9 million that were found. because we couldn't use those funds. So what we did last year was
2019.
we had an additional like for example, we have $1.2 million right now in revenues that were generated from the Building and Zoning Department. Well, you take those $1.2 million and you use those revenues to now fund next year's fiscal budget. You're funding yourself. You're a self-funded department.
That's correct.
So now, instead of taking money from general funds,
No, and we are not taking it from general fund. We're using the revenue. And that's why, since they have their expenses doesn't add up to all the revenue that they're bringing, that's why we had this line item of 243,000, because if we didn't use that account, the 243,000, that money would have been going to general fund. If we don't, like for the expenses for the general fund, that's why I added this line item. That way we don't have the misconception that, oh, general fund have $243,000 extra.
Right.
That's wrong. So that's why I opened this line item, so that way every year from now on we can actually have. And again, those are no exact number. It depends on the expenses and the revenue that we receive.
got it. See,
So that money that won't go to general fund. It will stay with the
building.
I understand. Now, follow me for a second. I am in Building and Zoning, right? At the end, it gives you that number, and it says 2022, 2023 proposed budget is $1.8 million. We're taking that proposed budget, and those monies are going to be coming from general funds to cover that budget, correct? Got it. But last year, there was a surplus of money generated from Building and Zoning of $1.2 million, correct?
I don't have the exact numbers here. I
Yeah, it's
have
pretty much
the
1.3,
final number.
1.4.
So probably was 1 point, so that going into the reserve. And it will be noted when we do the audit. And the audit will show that money that goes to the.
I understand what you're trying to do. I just want you to follow what I'm trying to do. And I think the commission, by the way, do you guys see what it is I'm trying? Okay, good, good. So I'm not crazy. If the agency, the department, is going to cost $1.8 million, but they generated a revenue surplus of $1.2 million, you take those $1.2 million to cover a portion of the 1.8, correct?
So it's only missing 600.
So now you only have to budget $600,000.
The thing, if we budget all the revenue that they're gonna receive this year, and whatever is left, then it goes to the reserve. If, for example, this year we project that they're gonna make $2 million, but after their department and all the department that assist them, it adds to $2 million, then we'll add a line item saying that we transfer in from their reserve to the budget.
So
Now,
again,
you use actual.
so I'm sorry. I'm going to say this again. I understand what your method is. I just want you to try and understand what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is what we did last year. It's very simple. This business, Building and Zoning, call a department, a business, whatever, generated an $1.2 million in excess of their budget. Right? So their budget was 1.4, and they actually generated 3.4.
3.6.
Got it. 3.6. So they generated an excess of $2 million this year. Correct?
I will have to check those numbers.
Good. Those $2 million are right here. They're here. They're going to go to reserves, because that's what we normally do. But instead of that money going to reserves, you take those monies to fund next year's fiscal budget, and you don't allocate the 1.8 from our general funds. Make sense?
We are not using general fund to balance the budget.
Yeah,
I'm using
from
the
my
revenue.
understanding, that's not what's happening.
No, I'm using the.
That's what happened in the
$3 million.
previous years, which is why when we became positive in the
2019.
in the revenue, then the city took back and claimed the money that we were in the negative. that's what happened. So from my understanding is that that's not happening now, that we are self-funding.
So let me help you.
It's a restricted
Let me
funding
finish,
department.
because-
It's kept apart. It's not commingled with others.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they can see from another.
Listen, guys, you can call it whatever you want. I was in that position. I know what I'm talking about. And when I keep repeating myself, forgive me, I'm going to get frustrated. I know what's legal and what's not legal. For God's sakes, this guy's been an attorney for 40 years, and him and I go at it. And I will not open my mouth unless I'm 1,000% sure, because I don't want to sound like a fool. It is perfectly legal. Okay, you're going to force my hand. Point of order. Mr. Attorney, can you please provide me a legal opinion on whether or not the city of Sweetwater is allowed to use the revenues generated by the Building and Zoning Department from one year as revenues of surplus to fund the following year's budgets for building and zoning?
What do you do with the following year's budget? I'm sorry, with the following year's revenue.
The following year?
Yeah.
Fund the next year. And it's a self-sustaining, which meets the statutory requirements.
I'm actually doing research on this right now. So, hold on.
Because correct me if I'm while you're thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong. The statute says that funds generated from building and zoning have to stay in building and zoning, which means it's a self-sustaining.
Actually, that's not completely correct. It's actually much more restrictive than that.
Much more restrictive than the funds generated from building and zoning has to stay in building and zoning.
Hold on.
How much more restrictive can that be?
Oh, substantial. The governing body of a municipality may provide a schedule of reasonable inspection fees in order to defer the cost of inspection and enforcement of provisions of the code. Inspections and enforcement. Defer that cost. So hold on. And again, hold on.
3.6, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.6
Mm-hmm.
that they generated.
Yep.
Essentially, I'm skimming through the only Attorney General opinion on point. And so I've already looked at this. And I actually have a legal opinion on that, but I'm trying to bring myself up to speed on this because I remember there being two separate issues. But essentially, the fees that are levied not under tax powers, they're levied under police powers.
Mm-hmm.
And the city's obligation to inspect and maintain public safety. To the extent that you advance that interest, yes, you can do that. You cannot fund the entire department off it. And that's there, at least in the 5 minutes that I've spent doing this, that's my conclusion at the moment. But I do think I need a little bit more time to read through this. Let's see it.
No, take your time, and next time we're here. My theory is when we're preparing a budget, we are allocating monies towards that budget.
Correct.
Okay? We have $25 million to play with, and we're going to go ahead and allocate $1.8 million of that $25 million towards building and zoning, to fund building and zoning. The difference is that building and zoning is running in a surplus. So now you have extra funds. So in theory, building and zoning can be self-sustaining and fund itself. All you're doing is you're placing funds here, whatever the revenues are, will cover the following year's budget. You follow me?
It's my understanding that's what we're doing, is my understanding.
But that's not what we're doing, because that's not what she's saying.
What we do to fund the department, we use the year that we're gonna be like, okay, for 22, 23, he gave us the projections that the department gonna have. So we use those revenues to fund the department. And that's why, since they were gonna have money left from the revenues and the expenses, that's why we added that line. So that money doesn't stay in general fund. It will stay in the building department. And I actually requested an opinion from the auditors to see if maybe we can, but I think that will have to to commission and stuff like that. That the building department be a total separate fund from the general fund. Like we have Stonewater, that is separate, it's not general fund. So that way it's more clear the way it's budgeted, and we can see the monies, how what they're gonna do, what they're gonna have is like Stonewater, the $72,000, the administration fee. They will have a line item that will have that administration fee of all the department that assist the building department. So it will be like in that format.
Can I
But
just
that I
ask
don't
you
know if it
something
can be
simple?
done.
No, I'm done asking
Because
questions.
I'm not good at math, and I ask little questions. They're asking for $1,800,000,
Yes.
right? They're asking you, as a finance director, as a finance department, right?
Yes.
They're asking you for 1.8,
Yes.
right? To run the department for a year.
Yes.
What I think the question is, why they're asking you 1.8 when they have a surplus of 1.4?
2.
Whatever the name is,
Yeah,
the number
that
is.
money from the year before stays. We don't have to actually acquire that money that
Where
is
is
in
it?
reserve because they have plenty of revenue for this year.
In their part.
If they were running under, like they're going to generate $2 million,
Yeah,
but their
that's not the
expenses are
case, I mean.
20.5, then we will transfer in from reserve, and that's how we will balance it. If they don't want to have enough revenue that year.
If they're negative.
So is
If
that,
they're
that was-
negative in the budget.
That was
That's
huge.
when we, like general fund, when we try to do the budget revision, let's say, and we don't have funds within the department, we say, okay, we're gonna acquire from reserve this amount of money. It's the same thing with them. Since they have a surplus this year, we don't gonna go to the reserve and get money because we don't need it. They already have a surplus for this year.
Through the chair, just as I told everybody, I do have something
let's
at
listen
5
to
that I
our
gotta do. I just want to let everybody know, one thing about the building department is that now we're definitely, Sweetwater is under a building boom, and with annexation, I think there's gonna be plenty of building. But sometimes that department also could run into a situation where they're underfunded if there's not sufficient building in a year. I don't know what your take is, Mandy, but that's one thing I've learned in a broad sense about that department, just a kind of a note, that, you got these years now, but it all depends on rates of building. And with that being said, I'm wishing everybody a good afternoon and evening. You all know where to find me.
Thank you for coming
Thank
tonight.
you, Robert.
Yeah, the department is supposed to be
Thank you, Robert.
self-sustaining. For example, Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County Building and Zoning Department is its own separate entity
It should be like that.
from the rest of the county. They have their own accounting, IT, HR, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They are completely freestanding, separated from the rest of the county. Now, we're not at that part yet. For example, we still have HR that we utilize from the city. We have IT, we have finance. So we kind of tiptoe back and forth through the city because we are not there yet. But the idea is that you become self-sustaining, and hopefully we grow that big, then we will have an HR department, an IT department, et cetera, and then we will be completely separate. But yeah, the downside of what the statute says is that basically, when we're running in the surplus and we fund ourselves, everything is good. If we come up short, then the city does have to fund it.
So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna be very brief. Annie, do you remember that when we first annexed in 2010, that the city of Sweetwater was running in a deficit to fund building and zoning?
I don't record that way back.
Okay.
I
And
believe that they became
self-sustaining in 2016.
2019.
Okay. Let me just finish my thought process. So every year, we had to take money from the budget and allocate those funds to fund building and zoning. Semantics, 2019, they're self-sustaining. Great. Which means we're no longer taking money from the budget to fund it. They're funding themselves.
Yes.
That means we're not allocating any money from the budget.
No, from general fund, no, because they have their own.
Exactly. So, in the same manner that they are requesting $1.8 million, they don't have to request that money from the budget. from the revenues that we're getting ready to allocate, they are going to be self-sustaining. Therefore, that $1.8 million goes directly to reserves. Is that correct?
The thing is that we still have to budget what they're gonna make this year. We have to budget.
I understand, but I'm talking about the revenues from this year surpass what their budget is. They had $2 million in revenues, and they have a $1.8 million budget, which is why. Where's your $200,000 that you set aside? Where is it?
Yes, but these are only the 1.8 is only the expenses for his department. Then we need to add the other department that sits him. So they're
What other
allocated,
department?
like he mentioned, finance, IT, HR. We even have a portion they use the city attorney for the zoning.
But isn't that already allocated in this $1.8 million budget?
No, this is only the building department. Our expenses, like finance, is in finance, and IT is in IT. That's why, and we do a table. I can provide that table so you guys can see how the expenses are broken down.
I'm aware that the building and zoning department is being charged an administrative fee, which started in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
2013.
2013?
2013, we started charging them. And then on 2019, they were in a plus, they were not negative.
Remember in that time, the problem was that our fee structure, because I've been here during that time, so our fee structure back in the day, in reality, reflected very little, because when I first started here, there was very little work. So the fees were very low. When we first annexed the Dolphin Mall area, we still had those same fees. And, as we were growing, the fees didn't keep up with it. So, and I know that I don't think you were yet on the commission, but then I went and I did a study with all the other comparable municipalities, and I changed the fee structure. And remind everybody, we left pretty much residential as it was. So residential really doesn't do anything for us. But we changed the fee structure, and luckily we had the boom. So that's why we've become, as of the last few years, we've become positive in the cash flow, because back we were basically coming off of the county. The county has a huge, and I mean a huge base. You could charge $2 for something, but you've got 2.5, whatever, 3 million people, isn't that? You could charge $1, $2 for something, you're gonna make money. Unfortunately, at the time, we are a lot less shorter on the volume, but we make it up because what we've had, and now we'll see with the new annexed area, is a lot of commercial.
I'm aware, and again, we're beating a dead horse. I'm gonna stop with this issue. I think I've explained myself thoroughly. We're just not, and you and I aren't the same page. I wish we were. I'm not being argumentative. The difference is that we're allocating monies from general funds we don't need to. That's why there's always a surplus. That's why since 2019 there's been a huge surplus, and that's why we've been able to allocate like $9 million. That's why it's like $9 million right now in building and zoning. You say it's 1.2.
1.3.
Okay, but if you sit there and you count the revenues generated in building and zoning in 2019, what is that number? You don't have that number in front of you, right?
No.
Okay, so do this for me. We'll do this. Give me the revenues generated from building and zoning in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And that way we're gonna see if those numbers add up to 1.2 million. I suspect they're going to be a lot more than 1.2 million. I think the 1.2 million was just this year alone. And correct me if I'm wrong, building and zoning generated what, $3.6 million this year?
I believe 3.6.
So so just think about this for a second.
Oh no, but on that 1.4, that's up to year 21. This we don't do this number until probably October or November.
I understand, but if building and zoning generated $3.6 million this year, okay, and And this year they were budgeted for 1.4.
1.8.
1.8.
Almost 1.9.
Not next year. This year.
This year.
This year was 1.4.
Oh, okay.
1.4.
22? You mean 22?
21, 22.
21, 22, they were budgeted 1.4.
And they generated 3.6.
No, the 3.6 is for this current fiscal year. Last year, let me see if I can see that number.
No, but we've been saying this.
3.3.
That's 3.3. We called it out 3.3.
Okay, 3.3. That's a lot of money.
Yes. But like I said, I can give you all the table that we carry.
No, I understand it, and forgive me. I'm
so
not.
that way you guys can see why expenses will.
1.8.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm. Okay.
So
And forgive me. I'm getting frustrated because I'm repeating myself, and you're really not understanding what I'm trying to say.
I obviously know.
I understand, and I always want to remain being a gentleman, especially with you. You've been through a lot of crap in this city, and the last thing you need is to sit there and deal with our crap. Trust me. That's why I'm being very patient. But if this year we budgeted $1.4 million, not next year, this year,
Okay, the car. Okay.
and this year that department generated 3.3, that's a surplus of money of $1.9 million, correct?
1.88.
Yes.
Okay. Then that $1.2 million that you're talking about in reserves right now doesn't make any sense because there's already 1.8 this year. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but for this current year, it's not adding this 1.4. That's what I was trying to say. It's
Why?
not adding. Because this is up to 2021. We haven't finished 22. So I cannot say, okay, we're going to have $2 million surplus because we haven't finished. So the number that I will have an idea of the surplus that they're going to have for this current year will be in November, October, November.
After we budget.
And then the 1.4, because we close on September 30th. So there's no way, and in October we still close in the year. We don't close exactly on September 30th.
So-
there is still bills coming in.
So here's the last thing that I'm going to say. If your budget preparation is based on guesstimation, correct?
Yes.
There's no science to this. It's basically, last year we spent this. We might spend this much this year. Oh no, don't forget about this. Oh, add that to the pot. Don't forget about the car. Add that to the pot. No, we have an extra. Add that to the pot. Okay, then you know what? Maybe we'll spend this. Well, you know what? Add another 15% to that, just in case. That's how you do your budget. Based on that, you can't do the same analysis on what they've generated in the last 4 years.
I do have it, but I don't have it with me. So that's what I'm saying. I can provide a table showing all that information, but I do not have it with me.
I get
but
it.
I do have it.
Thank you, Annie. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
But what I'm trying to get is,
I get you.
I'm trying to
I follow you.
understand. I'm trying to understand, and you have 3.3, and we're missing 1.8. Where does that 1.8 go to?
Reserves.
But it's for them.
Reserves.
So
For them.
it's for them.
For the building
It's
department.
not, the thing is,
And
it's an
not
offset.
8.1.
It's
Yeah.
an offset.
So if they already have 1.2, 1.2 plus 1.8, that's $3
Okay,
million.
then at the end of the
That's enough for a year and a half
To fund
more.
themselves.
For themselves.
And that's what I'm trying to go to.
And they don't have to use
So
our
why-
funds.
Right. Not for anything.
Mr.
Yeah,
President,
goes back to my question again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now
Mr. Attorney, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
So this is a question to Annie. When you say reserves, do you mean reserves specifically pertaining to the building department, or is that
the
the,
building department.
they're not
The
intermingled
building
with the rest of the
department.
funds? Okay.
No, with general fund. No, with general.
You can use that money.
Of course we
Yeah,
can.
you can use that money.
That's not reserve.
See what I'm
The
saying?
other reserve that we're
The
talking about.
question as to whether
Thank you, Ralph.
No, the question as to whether you do it that way, or you fund and then collect the money it's an accounting question. It's a policy question. But the whole purpose of the fees is to fund the operation. And if you've got monies to fund it, if you've got retrospective money to fund it prospectively, it's a policy decision.
So right now, expectedly, we have,
Did you look at that?
for instance, we have
This?
$3 to $3.2 million, more or less.
Basically, what the city attorney just told us is we can, and I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Move this
we can literally, the $1.8 million is being allocated to fund the building and zoning department. We don't have to do it. we can put that money aside because they can fund themselves. Is that accurate, sir?
In principle, I don't know about the accounting aspect of this, which is a different
Legally.
story.
Legally.
But legally, can you use the funds that are in reserves to fund the next year's operation of the building department? At this point, given my 10 minutes of research, I see no reason why that's not possible. Okay, I would like to look at it in the
Of course.
but there are also aspects of this that are not strictly legal questions. The city is required to maintain its books under the public sector version of generally accepted accounting principles. And I don't know if this violates that principle or not. That's something that may perhaps to consider with our auditor. But at present, right now, I don't see an impediment to that strategy at present.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, so now we know, and let's see where we come up with that, because at the end, it's an administrative. This is the issue. It's administrative, but we're the ones that allocate the funding. So literally, we could go about this several ways. We can zero out this budget from our allocation, and now building and zoning is self-funded. They fund their own budget. And in every municipal government, that's usually how it's done. In prior to 2010, prior to IKEA, okay, we didn't have any revenues. In 2010, they weren't building anything. And IKEA started being built, if I'm not mistaken, in 2011. We didn't receive the IKEA money until 2013. Is that correct?
I believe so.
And now that was the first time we ever received any monies in building and zoning, because every year we had to fund it. Well, now we're different. Every time one of these buildings sprouts up, just in permitting fees alone, it's like $7 million.
What?
Yeah, but not all of that is, because if you figure, and it's probably not 7, it's less, but you figure those are impact fees and everything else that's in there. So
Sure.
That's not all profit directly to the department, because, the impact fees go to the city.
Sure.
And, all the other stuff that's in there. So out of $7 million, like, the building department doesn't see the $7 million.
No, but I'll give you an example. So the phase 1, phase 2 of the 1, okay? Phase 2, they cut a check for $7 million for impact and concurrency fees. And that was earlier this year, is that correct?
It may be. I'm not sure when the
Either earlier this year or like October of last year.
It may a year at the most.
Right.
They're not a year in the
Right.
building yet.
And it was like $7 million. And how do I know this? Because every time we get one of these reports from building and zoning, I read them. And it says, $7 million.
It was in November.
Okay, great. So now, out of those funds, I can decipher how much of that stays in building and zoning. You can figure it out just by looking at the numbers. And that's part of the surplus that they have, where they have 3.3. By the way, the surplus is also a guesstimation. It's not a hard number. Is that correct, Annie?
Excuse me?
Forgive me for interrupting.
No.
The surplus of monies that you have, or sorry, the revenues that you're receiving are not an actual number. That is also a guesstimation, correct?
The revenues for the building departments?
No. The revenues from the department this year, because you haven't finished receiving all your revenues.
No. When we do the budget, the revenue estimate comes from the building department according to the projects that they're going to have that year. So, but it still is a guesstimate.
Sure. So every year, Manny will come, collaborate with you, and say, we're looking at maybe $1.5 million, and he's very conservative with his numbers. But every year, the numbers are surpassed by either $1 million or $2 million. And that's being conservative, right?
Yeah, we'll have to check.
Every single year that Manny's been in charge, he'll be very conservative with his numbers, but every year he surpasses those numbers. Now, it's an excellent way to operate, but we know we have buildings coming down the pike.
We have to be conservative because there's cases, and I'm gonna give you this one particular case. Sunsol. Sunsol's been permitted.
I don't know which one that is.
Sunsol is the one over by the Kawacha off of 25th Street by the Circle.
The hotel. What was?
The hotel.
Oh, the hotel.
The hotel.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's been in the pipe for at least 2 years
yes,
or
at
whatever,
least.
and that permit is sitting there ready to go. And
They haven't
I
done
have to
anything.
be conservative because on that building alone, I think probably 2 budgets. The first budget I budgeted that building, and that building hasn't come in yet.
Right.
So yeah, I have to be pretty conservative unless I know for sure, and I mean really sure, that they're breaking ground. When I started with this building, I knew they were breaking ground by here because they needed to be open by such a date. But the 107, the one over on 107 and 7, that took a little bit longer. So
I'm with you, and you're only reiterating and reinforcing what I'm saying. We appreciate, first of all, I've said this in meetings, I believe that you have the best building and zoning department in Miami-Dade County.
thank you.
I do a lot, and you know me, I'm not a suck ass. I'm not good at that crap. We do a lot of stuff with all the municipal governments in some of our businesses. As you know, we've had private conversations. When you try and get a permit in a municipality like Coral Gables, you can sit, wait, and talk and beg, go to church, aprender una velita. For 3 months, nothing's moving. Here in the city of Sweetwater, you put in an application, so long as everything's good to go, in 5 days, you have a permit. So that doesn't happen. In the city of Miami, that doesn't happen. So I'm very happy with what's happening in building and zoning. As a matter of fact, I think you need more. You need to beef up your staff and have more people complimenting you so we just be that much more efficient.
We're working on that.
But the point that I'm trying to make is the revenues, say again?
That's why I was asking him.
Yeah, the revenues that we have are self-sustaining revenues, which means you guys can fund your own agency, your own department. Aside from that, if the city commission decides to allocate further funding on top of you, we can. It's well within the statute. If we said we want to go ahead and allocate an additional $2 million, and I'll give you a perfect example. You know how I know we have more than $1.2 million in building and zoning reserves? Because building and zoning wants to build their own department building. And in order to do that, that's going to cost $7-9 million. And they're not going to start that with $1 million. You guys are going to sit there and grab what you have in the cookie jar and say, wagada.
Well, actually, that's on hold now for obvious reasons. The economy and whatnot, that was the plan. The mayor and I spoke about that we were going forward. The problem is that by the time that we've got the property, it was just, and all this happened. Right now, it's not the pertinent time to do this, and we were not ready. It's towards the end of his administration as well, so we were not ready, unfortunately, to go forward with that. So, but looking forward, I would hope that in the next administration that we get there.
So the money's due.
I'm gonna yield.
Do we have the property?
We have a property, yes.
Yeah,
We just now, the problem is that.
We don't own it.
No, now we do.
Which
But,
property?
It's off of the Turnpike and.
117?
Second.
Yeah,
I think it's second.
117 Avenue. That's the one that we got from the
DOT.
from the state.
Yeah, we got that.
At the
one.
end.
You mean the canal?
At
Back
the
to
end
the
of the
canal?
Right.
Okay.
But listen, we looked at it, and listen, there's a very nice building that could be built there.
117 and
But there's other logistical
the
issues,
dumping
like part
site?
of that is still in the county, there's issues with
Alright,
the
I
compound
got
that
it.
we have to address. I mean, we have it, but it's, unfortunately, we just can't come down and just go forward with it right now. But the idea is to build it there, because, I mean, what we're paying right now in rent, I mean, it's pretty substantial. We could be paying that in mortgage.
Yes.
If we have a few good years, probably maybe even liquidate it, and it becomes ours.
I'll yield.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I just want to point out that based on the performance report, there's $675,000 in excess in building alone. So we found $1 million in the other two, and here's $675,000.
Oh, but this is theirs.
Yeah, we can't touch their
Yeah,
money.
this is theirs.
No, but
But you're right. We can actually take away our money.
and
that
listen,
they
if
wanna
you
get.
guys go to the last page of the report, 27 of 27. I know it's a snapshot that ends on 8/18. It's just a snapshot. There's probably a lot that still has to go through. $7.3 million in excess for this year alone.
No, but this report is including grants. It's not only general fund. It's CITT.
So let's say that I'm
So
off
there
by.
are a lot of grants in
So
here.
let's say we're off by $2 million. Would that be fair?
3.
3? There's $4 million left. $4 million, boys
All right.
and ladies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Lots of money left over to fund the proper 401k and some other things that lower taxes.
You mind if I ask one more question?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Keep it brief, sir.
I apologize. Thank you for your
Keep it
patience, by the
brief.
way.
I'm running out of patience.
No, I know. Firemen you gotta like use watercolors and stuff.
I did something on camera.
That's battery, but it's only if it's unwanted. I allow you to strike me, sir.
Yeah.
Annie, can you give me? So I'm going to ask you for something that I don't think anybody's ever asked you to do before, but I think you're actually going to enjoy this. And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you generate a report? Because right now we're allocating $3.24 an hour to the employee's retirement. Okay. Can you generate a report that would increase that amount to $5 an hour per employee?
I can do that.
Now, would you enjoy that? Or
Of course, it's a benefit to the employee.
that's why I said you'd enjoy it. How many civilian employees do we currently have?
Excuse me?
How many civilian employees do we currently have? Is it about 160?
In total 168. No, I'll tell you right now. I'll give you the breakdown of it.
No.
Okay, full-time civilian, we have 86. Part-time, we have 16.
Okay.
16.
So we're not going to be offering, at least my opinion, we're not going to be offering retirement to any part-time employee. Now we have 86 full-time employees
Yes.
in every single department.
Yes.
Times 5.
Okay. So we're talking about 5 times 40 hours is $200 a week. Times 52 weeks is $10,400 a year. Times 86 is $894,000 a year if we increase. No, I'm sorry. I'm absolutely wrong. It's way less than that.
No, the difference.
324 minus 5 is $1.76. $1.76 times 40 hours is $70.40 a week. Times 52 weeks is 3,000
Times 86.
660.80 a year times 86. So it would cost us roughly $314,828 to increase the employee's retirement contribution of $5 an hour. Is that accurate? More or less?
I got another number, but I think I did it a little bit different.
Say it again.
So right now the number is $3.24, correct?
Yes.
Okay, if we want to increase to $5 an hour, we're going to subtract 324 from $5 an hour. It's $1.76 an hour, right?
The difference.
Times 40 hours a week is $70.40. Times 52 weeks is $3,660.80 per employee. Times 86 employees is $314,828. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good.
That's what I got.
Now, I have a huge problem with the. Let me choose my words correctly. For employees in a leadership position, no, employees making more than $60,000 a year,
67.
$67,000 a year, the city's paying 10%. Okay, but every other employee, the city's paying $3,600.
No, it's 324, so it's actually like 6,000. At 67, it break even. So it's like 6,700, 800.
So the numbers that we just did right now, the city, if we go to $5 an hour, the city would be spending $3,600 a year per employee for each employee making less than $67,000 a year.
No, that's the extra. Besides what they already getting, because they're getting 3.
Yeah, that's the 176 per
So
employee.
it will be. They're gonna be their pension will be 10,400 instead of 6,700.
Right.
So they getting the 3,000 extra.
Okay. So, in giving employees a $5 an hour total contribution, what would that number come up to after 25 years?
$7.8 million.
No.
314,828 times 25.
No.
It's not 314.
No. I'm looking at $5 an hour times 40
Oh, I'm
hours.
sorry, that was
is
just
200
that was the difference.
times 50. No, I'm doing altogether.
all
$5
of
an
it.
hour. $5 an hour times 40 hours a week. It comes out like $10,400 a year per employee for the city's contribution. Right?
But if we take the difference, if we calculate the difference, that is 314,000 times 25 years, that's 7,807,000.
Yeah, $7.8 million. The difference alone
That's
is
the
$8 million.
difference. That doesn't include what they're getting now, the $3.24. So
Well,
if
you're
we
saying
do-
7 million?
Yes. You asked for 25 years.
What the employee gets?
Oh no, that,
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
you
huh?
mean the retirement?
260.
Oh, no, that one.
It's
260.
exactly
Yeah,
the
we
same
have to
amount
do a
divided by
little
82.
more. Because
What do you
I
mean
will
with
have to
employees?
actually see how.
What the employee
Like
would
for
actually
example,
retire.
like I've been
260.
here 15 years. My retirement from UPAN is $231.
No, that's
It's a
horrible.
crock of shit.
That's absolutely
$231.
horrible.
Sorry, Mr. President,
That
but that's a
is
crock
the
of shit.
absolute worst thing
So,
I've ever
I
heard
don't
in my
know
life.
How they're basing, and that's why we did the 401A for the.
We need to move away from that. That's
Yeah.
that's
Like,
a
for
total
example,
disaster.
Like an employee,
The-
a regular
before
employee, they
the,
work more than 80 hours.
Oh
So
my
we
God.
pay the 324 for all the overtime they do.
Yeah.
The management is salary.
Yeah.
So we just get the 324 per hour.
Right,
And that's why the administration changed for the salary, like management, 10%, so they could see a little different, because actually the employee were gonna get more money than the supervisor.
The way this works with the
Painters?
UPAT union, the painters, is very, very opaque. I've tried to look through it. To
I
figure out what it
I
is.
have to. It's very.
It's very opaque. My personal opinion, and again, this is based on absolutely no set of facts, other than the fact that it's so opaque, is that essentially it's used to fund the unions themselves.
Yes.
Because they fought they fought very vigorously not to be ousted from the city, in a city where maybe one or two people were paying the monthly union dues. Well, the PB is different, because all the cops know you got to be a member of the union because of all the hazards that they go through. But the benefit that and just so everybody knows, you can be a member of you're a member of the bargaining unit, but you do not have to be a member of the union.
That's right.
Okay? So all the cops join the union. Why? Because of all the things that they go through, not the least of which is arrest or the possibility of arrest. The union is there to back them up, so they understand this as being a cost of doing business. But for the civilians, it's not really there's not really that much of a benefit for them. So they join or they don't join depending on the tenure with the administration. Sometimes when a specific mayor is in office, everybody joins because they're afraid of getting fired. Other times when there's a friendly administration, everybody stops being a member. Right now, I think there might be one or two people who are members. So the only way that it would be economically worthwhile for the painters union to wish to remain here as vigorously as they do is if the pension somehow funds them. Now, obviously, at that point, once the money goes out, it becomes completely opaque. There's no way to control it. There's a central committee someplace in Georgia, I think, that administers everything.
I think it's in New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
So it administers everything, and the union people have said that, the representatives have said that it's a very fair and beneficial system. Is it? Is it not? I
It's
don't know.
not.
It's absolutely not. I can tell you that I delved in that in the very beginning when I got here. I had asked Carmen for pension documents and actuarial studies and all of that, and
But
we need to find a way to get away from that.
Well, there's a Band-Aid way to do it now, which is implemented. Well, I'm the one who thought of it actually. So the way we got there is that the management employees are not a member of the union. So when I was management, I was not a member of the union. So in reality, the mayor could say, well, I'm going to give you $25 an hour, 25% towards your pension, whatever. The mayor can do whatever he wants at that point, provided he can get the funding for it. You're not restricted to the civilian contract. Consequently, Mayor Lopez approved a plan where and it was, I believe, approved by the commission as well, where there was a 401 component to this. I forgot exactly what it is. I'm terrible with numbers, but either way, instead of the contribution going to the pension, it went to the 401. And then that benefit that was afforded to senior management was afforded to all employees in the last CBA. The last collective bargaining agreement says specifically that that all civilian employees can either elect to remain with the painters union for pensions, or that money is not withdrawn, it's diverted into the 401A, whatever the figure might be. So there is actually a vehicle that's available for all employees at this point.
I have a question. Do you guys currently have a 457 fund?
The
A
457?
457 fund?
Yes, we
That's a
do.
self-funded
That's the
one?
one that
That's
we
the one you
contribute.
self-fund.
Deferred
Yes.
comp.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily self-fund. So you have two different vehicles. So you have your deferred comp, right? That you go ahead and you self-fund, and then you have another one where the city matches. Okay, like
Which
a
is
401k.
what he's talking about. It's a 401A, right?
the
It's the same
401A.
thing.
It's a 401A.
The match will go into the other fund.
So just so I understand, because we've never discussed this,
Right.
and now we're coming to find out about it. So what you're telling me is that the city is depositing 10,000. No, sorry, whatever the number is, $3.24 an hour, which comes out to, let's do some quick math. 324 times 40 times 52, $6,739 a year. And is the employee matching that?
That's voluntary.
No, the employees
They don't
the
have to.
457.
Can they match it?
They can,
If
but
they
it's-
would like to, yes.
they can by IRS code.
There are few that
Yeah.
have that 457, but
Yeah.
not everybody up, not to.
Because
But
nobody.
that's their fund.
Which is
they're
horrible.
not
Actually, I did it.
which is horrible
Yeah.
that nobody matches that.
And I did it. I actually.
If you match it, it's excellent.
Yeah, I know. I actually did it,
Oh, we did.
and actually at the end, when I resigned and I got all my personal leave time, it all went in there. You remember that, don't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's a ceiling beyond which you can't contribute.
Yes.
It's an IRS. It's by IRS code. I think it's
Yeah.
19.5.
Yeah,
Yes,
but it was higher for me
Yeah.
because of my age. So I think I was able to put
If
it
you're
in,
over 50, you can
Yeah.
do the catch-up provision, which is
24.
double.
Oh, it's
No, it's
double.
double.
Well, whatever it was, I put in the maximum amount at that point. But that's what we have at this point.
So here's what who's in charge of the union currently?
JC, I believe.
Who?
No,
JC.
not anymore.
No?
He's no longer with the civilians. He's a police officer now.
Right now, I
We didn't really give 'em
believe
bullets,
that
did
it
we?
was gonna be Cesar Villafaña.
Oh, really?
Who's
We
that?
were trying to. He's in finance, our purchasing agent.
He's gonna be the.
For the city, we were trying to see because there's.
Was he
I don't
elected
think that
or
there's anybody.
was he elected or just by?
No. We trying to see if he wants to go ahead and do it, so everybody can vote and see they want him or. So there, I don't think that there's anyone at the moment.
No,
I don't think.
Okay.
Because it was JC, so I don't know who we have right now at the moment.
Okay.
So we were trying to see
I
if
apologize, but I have to go.
Yeah, so do I. I got a funeral to go to. I just wanted to finish this.
Can we finish this one and that's it? We're just gonna call
Try
it.
to get another day in here.
So this is I personally like to see a representative from the employees here
Okay.
because look,
I'll check with Lorena, I'll ask her to see.
because I'm gonna tell you,
again, and I keep saying this until I'm proven wrong, and I'm not going to be proven wrong, this is the best commission the city's ever had since freaking 1941. I've never seen a commission fight so hard for employees. I've never seen a commission fight so hard to give employees raises, equipment, but we're going to hold you to the fire. You, unfortunately, my opinion, you're one of the nicest people in this building. I haven't met somebody nicer than you. You're extremely tolerant, but you got a crappy job when you have to sit there and deal with us when your boss tells you, hey, do this, and you're going to have to dance around an issue. I can tell you, with all due respect, your predecessor was a complete buffoon and a freaking liar. And I had zero patience for that freaking imbecile. For you, I'll have all the patience in the world. I want to apologize if I sound brash, but you have to understand that if I'm trying to convey a message and you either dance around it or don't understand what I'm trying to say, but everybody here does, I'm going to be like, Coño, Annie.
No, I can assure you I will never dance around. If I know the answer, maybe when, you were talking to me, and actually I'm taking notes because I want to put it in in a paper or something to see with you and see, okay, this is what you were talking about, this is what I mean, because there's, with the building department, I know that we are not understanding each other, so I want to actually go and see, understand it again, put it in writing, do like a table and present it to you, so that way you can see how I see it, and maybe that way we can understand each other. But no, with that one, believe me, I know.
I got it, and thank you, Mr. President.
I will never come over here and lie.
No, I never said lie because I would never call you that. Again, I have the utmost respect for you, and I continue to say that. You're a lady, and you're extremely nice. I don't know how nice. I don't know how it is you're that nice. I wouldn't be that nice, but it is what it is. Mr. President, are you available? Because the next time we're gonna meet, are you available next Thursday?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I could do Tuesday.
Wait.
I'll be out of town, that's for sure.
I could do Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
No Wednesday.
Come on, forget your golf game.
No, sir. I already did that once.
Wait, hold on a second.
Not anymore.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Just for next week, 2 items. One, I cannot make it after 6 o'clock. Actually, after 5 o'clock on Wednesday. I have a board meeting at 7 that night. And then supposedly the mayor is going to call a meeting for the 25th. That's Thursday at 2 o'clock.
A meeting of what?
It's for the insurance for the employees.
Oh, the insurance meeting is going to be that day.
Yeah, I was gonna see if we can do that.
I was gonna call you. I was gonna call everyone.
I was gonna try to do. We can kill two.
You could do it. You could do it at. It's set for 2 o'clock, or it's going to be set for 2 o'clock. You could set this meeting at say 2:30.
What day? 25th?
The 25th.
I won't be here. I'll be out of town.
I can't do it either. I can't do the 25th.
The insurance for the
The
employees.
insurance for the employees.
That's a big meeting.
That is not a Mickey Mouse meeting, and I'm telling you, I'm not gonna vote for the crap that we have right now. That's a guaranteed freaking fact. I didn't vote for it last time. I won't vote for it again.
We're gonna do it somewhere else.
Last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what day? So the 25th is the insurance.
I'm concerned about the quorum that day.
25th is when the mayor wants to call a meeting.
We don't do it.
Okay, what about the 25th? Nobody's gonna be here. I would like everybody to be in this meeting for the insurance.
Where?
29th, I'm in town.
Well, the 25th, that's what they say. Can we do the 26th?
25th, I'm out of town.
No, 26th is Friday.
I'll be
I'm
back
out of
on
town
Monday,
too.
the 29th.
I'm good the 29th.
All right, so
Yeah, but
everybody.
what time would you be back on the 29th?
No, I'll be back on the
30th.
No, I'll be back on the 28th.
I'm good the
So I'll be here on the
29th.
29th.
Okay, so let's do 29 then.
And whatever time you guys want.
Who's available the 29th?
Everybody.
I'm available the 29th.
29, guys.
That works. What time?
That's my
2 o'clock.
Hey, quinceañera.
But anyway, I'll be here.
I bring the cake.
At 2?
I bring the cake.
At 2?
two?
A little,
2
can we do
o'clock?
a little later.
No.
3?
Well, that's because of that meeting. We're
No,
gonna
he's
try
got-
to
he's got
we're
work.
gonna try to do the same
4?
meeting with the insurance
6.
On the same day?
on the same day.
Oh, okay.
And we do budget at the same time.
What time?
So 2 for this, and then the budget, like what, at 4?
Well, I'll tell you what. That meeting with the insurance, I guarantee you, is not going to be a long meeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's do. Can we do? Yes, hi.
Here we go.
Sure.
Yeah, hi.
Okay, I'm not gonna be here the week of the 29th to the 31st. I'm actually on vacation.
Okay.
I do have the information to send you guys already with some numbers. If I don't need to be here, then on the 29th, you guys could do it.
How many companies?
So far, we have United that's quoting us again. We have Ahmed coming in, and we have also Blue. Unfortunately, nobody else does want to pick us up because
You said Blue and Wells and
Blue
Ahmed?
Ahmed.
Question for you, did we look at self-funding? Are we big enough for self-funding?
I don't think we did look into that. That's not something that we've done.
Oh, is it Blue from Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
Yes.
Like, yeah, hold on. Because United is not United. United is United Partners, whatever the name is, which is not United Healthcare, actually. It's part of it, but it's not the same thing.
Florida Blue?
Florida Blue, that's what he
So that's not Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Yeah, Florida
All right.
Well, now, what is that? What is Avmed? Are they more or less?
So right now, from the numbers that I received, we have a 26% increase with
United.
the United.
That's
The
probably fine.
HMO in the plan that Carlos is going to be, talking about, I think we got a 6% increase, and for the POS, we did get like a 24% increase.
What about Avmed?
That's
That is
Ahmed
Ahmed.
is the POS, 24% increase, and I believe that the HMO came at a 6%
Boom.
increase. So it's not too bad, and that's the one that mirrors the best of what we had before. Because remember, once we
need to
leave
be-
an insurance, we're never guaranteed the same coverage as before because we're no longer grandfathered in.
So let me ask you a question.
Of course.
Why did we choose that crappy ass insurance last
Because you
year?
weren't here that day, Mark.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Next.
It's all on you.
Hold on a second. You're a liar. You're a liar. Let me tell you something.
you used to
No,
blame it on
don't
me.
do
You
that.
used to
Don't
blame
do
it on
that. You know why? Listen,
used to
I
blame
was
it on
telling
me.
you guys, do not choose that insurance.
I didn't choose it. I didn't
Go
get
there,
it.
relax.
The only two that didn't choose that insurance, it was her and I.
Yeah, well, guess what? I was on my wedding anniversary,
I'm sorry.
and I told you guys, don't choose this insurance. Stay with Ahmed. But you guys decided to listen to the administration, so don't point
You
fingers.
weren't here for that. Thank you very much. Next.
I wasn't here. He brought it
Wait a
me,
second.
and I
Do
wasn't
we
here.
know- do we need the meeting on the 29th?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
Yeah,
Send
send the
docu-
numbers.
Send the
Okay, so
documents.
I'm gonna send
She
you
just
guys
said it.
the
Okay,
email
make
that I
sure
got.
when you send the numbers, we get it, because we haven't been
Lower
getting
the
the
pena.
Send the
from
documents.
Sean.
Set it off.
Te voy a
Hang on,
la
hang
casa.
on. Send the, wait, can you do a,
guys.
can you do a coverage comparison so we see?
Yeah, so I have my draft ready. It's ready to send to you guys. It has the numbers. It has everything. It
Send
has
it.
my whole little thing. So I'm gonna send it to you guys now. I'm not gonna be here on the 29th. So
Alright.
if you guys want to do it, that's
I'll
up to
take
you.
one.
Can we by resolution cancel her
Cancel
vacation?
your vacation. I second that.
All right, listen. Let's do the 29 at 2 o'clock. We
Got
do
it.
the insurance first, and then we do the budget.
Perfect.
Okay? Perfect, everybody.
I just want to give you guys enough
Yes.
time to kind of go
Yeah.
over
Yes.
everything. 'Cause I want to be as transparent as possible.
Alright.
You
Yeah,
know,
like
me
last
and my
year, we
little
had enough
friend
time.
over here.
Like last year, we had enough time.
I don't care.
The 29.
You don't care.
The 29 at 2 o'clock.
Okay, so you guys
Here.
are gonna do
Yes,
it.
29.
All right, so I'll see you guys through Zoom.
No, for real.
That's
Lorena,
fine.
make
Zoom is
sure,
fine.
make sure
Zoom is
everything
fine.
all.
The meeting part, he did say.
Lorena, make sure we get the emails.
Yeah, I'm sending it now. So if anything,
All right,
Amy
'cause the
will
last
be
one
the
we
one.
didn't-
Meeting's over.
All right.
Okay, excuse me, the 29th is not only my birthday, it's her birthday too.
Oh, so we got two birthdays.
You're gonna screw up her birthday?